Hello and welcome to Flory Models Saturday live show. Yes, we're here in the afternoon today, just for a change, just for you US guys. I hope somebody won't. Do you know what? We've got 31 viewers already. So they're obviously sat there waiting for us to start.
That's good.
So that's pretty good because we are just a few minutes late. Thank you for joining us this afternoon. I hope to have many questions from our American colleagues over there. Basically, usual thing, you know how it works. Pop in the forum, the Saturday area. You'll see it's dated. I can't remember what we called it now, Steve. In fact, if I had this turned on, I might know. But it's basically down there. Post your questions down in there. We'll get through as many as we possibly can. Come on, tablet, wake up. No, come on.
Yeah, it's dated Saturday Live with Phil and Steve, Saturday the 18th of June.
Well, there you go. See, so post up any questions you got for today's show, and we will go through as many as we can, or we'll definitely go through them all. If I can ever get my tablet to turn on. Oh, here we go. Sorry. Right. Okay. So, obviously, very informal. This one. We'll just answer your questions. We're going to do a little bit of building. We'll talk about what we've been up to over the last week, and all different bits and pieces like that. So, Steve, I don't know why I keep saying high CPU detected. Nothing else is running apart from this, and it never used to say that. It's a little bit of a warning. But hopefully we'll be alright because it hasn't dropped a frame ever doing this. Dropped frames nil, so I think we'll be okay. It just doesn't like it too much, but hopefully we'll be okay. So if I just fire up the old into the forum down in here. So Steve, what have you been up to this week?
Well, since Tuesday I've been doing a bit of a rescue job on the Tornado, because I had a problem with the windshield, which is managed to rectify and using a replacement. And then I found a problem with the main canopy. There were a crack in it when I took all the masking off, so I might to do that again.
Oh, so you've cracked the canopy.
I don't know how it happened. That's the worst annoying thing, is how does it happen?
Yeah.
You know, so I don't know how that's... it's a bit annoying, really. But I've been watching the football as well.
Do you know what? I haven't watched a single thing. With everything we've been doing here, I've managed to miss it all.
And the Typhoon, a bit more work on that. It's got the wings nicely on now.
Looking very nice.
The intake is almost there now. I've just been sanding it because it had a bit of... I don't know how well you can see it. Which way do we need to go? That way. So it's... With it being white, it's not... But I've almost got it nice how I want it, so... Yeah, that's getting there. And
very
then,
nice.
Obviously, I've... got the Dolphin all ready for today, so there you go, that's how it's looking.
Yeah, you're a bit ahead of me. Mine doesn't look quite like that.
Oh, well, that's where we agreed. But this is where I'll be honest now. I've got quite a few bits left over from the engine.
Yeah.
I don't know how well that can show up. A bit higher, there you go,
higher,
quite a lot.
Yeah.
Because the engines were a nightmare to fit in, so I just... Instead of having it how they say, I took the engines to bits. Let's move that down a bit. You can see. So I took the engines totally broken down and then I glued them to the inside of the engine covers.
Right.
Made it a lot easier to fit.
Very good. So that's the secret. So I'll be pulling mine apart in a minute.
Yeah. It just seemed to work a lot better by doing it that way, and you can get everything nicely fitted in.
Yeah.
Because I don't think it's designed to have the covers closed.
No.
So, but yeah, that's my week really.
Very good.
And apart from that, I've just been dug my kit out for the Armour Sig coming up, which should got to be that one.
Yeah. Oh, very nice. Yeah.
I've had my A wing delivered this week, which is nice. And I've also just got a parcel which I need to open, which should be my Star Wars helmet collection.
Steady.
So I'll open it now because I know it's from them, but I haven't a clue which helmets I'm getting this month.
Right, okie dokie.
So I'll have to have a look.
So you ever know what type it's going to be?
I don't know if they tell you. No, I've never known.
Tell you?
No. Or I don't notice.
Yeah.
I think that's the fun bit that you're not knowing.
True, yeah.
Oh, excellent. Hey, that looks good. We have got... Yeah.
Oh, one of the sand people.
that looks brilliant, actually.
It does actually. It looks very good, that one. Yeah.
Yeah, and we also have got, what the heck is one of them?
So
An Imperial Gunner.
yeah, it's one of the gunner ones. Yeah, they're
Yeah.
good. They are. Yeah.
So, and also, what's that? Got another little box which has got, that's my R2D2.
Mhm.
It's a memory stick thing.
Oh right. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
A flash drive. Yeah.
Yeah, hey, that's
Brilliant.
cool. And then obviously you get the magazines in there, but yeah, hey, I'm happy with that. Good
Very
stuff.
good.
Yeah. But yeah, you get a couple of magazines
Mhm.
going, it just tells you all about it, what everything on the helmet does and the
Yeah.
about the uniforms. And it's really interesting.
Very good.
Oh, it's
How much
published
is that?
for, it's £10 every 2 weeks.
Hmm.
Which, to be honest, when you break down the cost, you get your helmet. It's all delivered. It's in a little case, a magazine with it. It's not bad value, actually.
No, that's right. I think it's very good value. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's probably the only one, this kind of series that I've ever wanted to collect.
Yeah.
Being put off a lot of the other ones where you, like, the build the Millennium Falcon for £1,000.
Yeah, that's right. That is
That's-
the only thing.
yeah.
It's like 3 years and £1,000 later.
Yeah,
You know, that's what I must admit. I'm always put off by them.
but yeah, these are excellent. I'm right chuffed with this.
Very nice. Very good. Right, well, me, as you know, we've had a busy week. We had the roofers obviously in, which I thought was going to affect everything. And to be honest, I thought I was going to have a nice, easy week. Far from it. So I decided I was going to throw myself into doing this guy. So the Osprey, literally, we just need unmasking now and the final weathering steps, and he's done. So I intend to do that tomorrow morning. I'll be doing that for my entry into the actual group build. So that will be completed. Because obviously, don't forget, guys, you've got to get on with that one because you've only got literally not even 24 hours now, is it? Yeah, you've got roughly, I don't know what time he's actually going to close it, around about 30 hours or so left to finish it.
Yeah, they usually
got-
close, if you don't mind interrupting.
Yeah.
Is it 5 or 6 o'clock Monday morning UK time, which is
Yeah.
10 p.m. on Sunday Pacific Coast time. So
Ah,
that
right.
gives everyone in America a full Sunday.
Yeah, absolutely. So you've got a little bit of time still to get on with those. So obviously, guys, push them through because then obviously everyone's going to get your medals and various bits and pieces. But very happy how the Ospreys come out. It's looking really, really nice. Just needs a little bit more weathering. Unmask it, it'll be good to go. Fine with that one. I've done as well this morning this. So to be honest, I've lost one of the bits of filming for this. It's all about it, but we've actually done it because obviously I couldn't do it before. But this is the actual all the photo etch flap system, which is actually quite a complicated thing. If I'm honest, it was a lot more complicated than I thought it was going to be. So we've got the actual flap parts are all in there. They're all done now. So I talk you right the way through doing it, start to finish, taking it off the sprue to the final thing, and we do some final photos at the end of that one. And then obviously the other big thing we did, which thank you for all the feedback on it, is this guy. Okay, this was just sort of that one-day build that I actually did on Thursday. Again, I thought it was going to be a case of that I was never going to get a chance to film properly and everything else. So I thought, oh well, it doesn't matter about the audio quality and anything else like that. So we'll just chuck it in here. Sorry, I'm doing 8 things at once here. Why won't that sit off? So we've done the actual blaster. So thanks for all the feedback on that one. It went really, really well. Thoroughly enjoyed it. Obviously, I'd like to do a lot more sort of one-day builds, not Star Wars or props or anything else like that, but doing things like this was really nice. Remember, non-members, you can see this as well because it's actually up on the free bit of it, if you like, as well. So there's that one. So that was a lot of fun to do and everything else. So yes, I've had a busy couple of days, needless to say. You think it's going to be nice and it's going to be a doddle and all the rest of it, and it turns out turning into more work and everything else. Everybody bought all my kits. That entire list that I put up went within 2-3 hours. So it was like, right, okay, I went off and, to be honest, watched the film, and by the time I come back, the lot have been sold. So well done to everybody. Got yourself a bit of a bargain with some of that, and that has cleared out my stash a bit now. It's a little bit lower. Second load of it I'll probably do tomorrow, and then I'll put the full details up with you on Monday for that one. So yes, very good. And then I got a delivery as well, which turned up today. Mine's come from Japan. So I can do a little unboxing as well, and I think I know what this is, because to be honest, I've only got one thing comes from me from Japan, quite frankly. And I have to say, this is very good service, because it was shipped, got a feeling, Monday or Tuesday, and there we go, very well packed. Good job I didn't cut too far down. But we have got Captain Phasma has arrived. So we got that one, and I know Steve's got his already. And then we've actually got the A-Wing as well. You can always tell the Japanese ones, isn't it, Steve? Because they have the strap on it.
Yeah, they do, yeah.
Do yours all have that? Yeah. So Phasma hasn't for some reason. So yes, we got Phasma down in there, looking all very silvery and all the bits and pieces. And we've got the A-Wing, which is very nice because it comes with the tower as well. Yes, it does. I was thinking it didn't then, but it does. So actually it's got the tower as well for the laser turret. So you can then, in the scale of 1/72 of what we were doing, in theory with my trench run, I can have a tower in there as well. So they're quite nice. So I'm quite happy those have turned up at last. So keeping on with the collection of buying it all, I must admit, Kylo Ren I haven't ordered, purely because I don't like him.
Yeah, but it's like I haven't either, but we need it for his collection.
Well, yeah, I suppose you do, yeah. Just
And then we
for
need
collection purposes.
We need to do a weekend where we just build Star Wars again, or a week.
Yeah,
a Star Wars build
week.
marathon.
Yeah, so just do one a day.
Yeah.
And knock them out, no problem at all. So yeah, I don't know, perhaps, I don't know, it's early this year, isn't it? November Rogue One comes out?
Yeah.
It's November, isn't it, for Rogue One? So perhaps we'll do a Rogue One for the launch of that. We'll do a mini little SIG for a 1 week SIG Star Wars Bandai kits and see how many we can get through in that actual week. So yeah, and obviously there's my fantastically with the windows pushed in. Oh god! And as I say, a lot of you know my filler job, which was a case of let's just shove it in and we'll worry about it later. So that's what I'll be tackling today and putting it together and everything else. Although I do have to say we have new camera angles as well. So normally you have you have me like this, okay, for when we're doing the live things, and I hinted about this the other day. Then we have this is sort of big overall cam, right? Then we have close-up cam, and now we have, hopefully, it's going to come in, spray booth cam. So we've got another one. And if you really want to get picky with it all, we now have mini cam on a string, so he can see you looking at me looking at you. That's how it works down there, look, you see. So yeah, there you are, you're all there technically. So we've got mini cam as well, so he can look down at the work, the jobs and everything as we're going as well. So between it all, it's all very good. So we're pretty well covered with camera angles now. We should be all right. Okay, so if we just do a couple of questions and then we'll start digging in.
Yeah.
Literally, in my case, I might as well get the Dremel out. Okay, so Christopher Stewart says, okay, hi Phil and Steve, I've recently had my model making kraken awakened after about 35 years kit. I find your site an absolute goldmine for info and go-to place for all modelling things. So many thanks for all your great work. I'm currently building modding a cheap Revell 132nd F4F Phantom into a one-off steampunk version. And I'm in the deckling stage. I'm toying with the idea of attempting DIY decal making, and having done a little research on the interweb, have found that many people use Testors products. I can get my hands on a reasonably priced decal paper here in the UK, but I'm not willing to pay the large postage for the £3 bonding spray. Is it $3 bonding spray from the USA? So my question is there an equivalent to the Testors bonding spray, or a bonding technique that achieves a same result? Thanks again, Chris. Have you guys ever attempted decal making? Yes, I've done it loads of times. When I used to do commission work and various things like that, You don't need to have their bonding sprays and all the rest of it. All you're doing is sealing it down. So if you're using like an inkjet printer for doing it, you just need something so when it goes into water, obviously it doesn't all leak and bleed and everything. So you need something to actually fix it to the carrier film, basically. Because don't forget, all you're doing is printing onto carrier film. You need something that stops it from bleeding. So it's always a good idea to leave a gap right the way around the edge as well, because that helps it not to bleed. But you can use anything. A clear gloss, an acrylic clear gloss right over it will work just as well. But there is specific products out there now. Micro Industries do one as well, don't they? Called Decor, whatever it is, Steve.
Yeah, I can't remember the name, but I know they do it. Yeah.
But yeah, which is this company here, who do the crystal clear and the setters. They actually do one, and it's called Carrier or something else like that in a bottle. You can use that. If you're very careful, you can actually brush paint it on as well, onto the sheet. So you print it out on your decal sheet, because usually they're A4. Okay, take it out the printer, let it dry, and then in one pass you can literally overcoat them or spray on coats of clear to physically lock it and seal it. The secret is not to cut too close to the edge. Because otherwise what tends to happen is for some reason it tends to get bleed and it tends to come out the side. Okay, so leave a little bit of carrier film on there, and then don't forget that's on the inside, so when it goes onto your model it's locked in. Okay, and you can do it like that. It's quite it's not the best, let's put it like that. It's not like having a proper printer setup where you've got various proper ways of doing it, and it's like, you know, silkscreen printing and all things like that. So it is a little bit hit and miss. I know guys who can do it. Sorry, the lads arrived. You can literally do it if you wanted to in various different ways. You can use laser jet as well as inkjet, might help you a little bit, but it all depends on, you know, your personal things, what size it is as well, and things like that. So you ever done it, Steve?
No, I've not. To be honest, I haven't had the need to do it. I know I've got some projects coming up that I'm going to get Ron to make me some masks instead, some templates. No, I've never had the need.
There is a couple of companies out there who will do it for you. You give them the design, they'll send you the sheet of it done. They're not cheap, and it does tend to be the more you pay, the better the quality you get. Because there is people out there who just do it on eBay and cut the quid, and it's not exactly brilliant. But at the end of the day, it's, you know, it is what you pay for what you get. And everything else. There is other ways around it, depending really what you want to print off. If it's just lettering and wording, you can do, you know, individuals and put them together. But it depends. If you want like a picture and various things like that, you can go down the other route. But again, it's detail. If it's a really detailed image, you might not get it. They tend to get a bit blurry and everything else like that. Yeah. What? Sorry, there's a little dog's face looking at me. Come here then.
Yeah, because depending on what it is, you could have a word with Ron.
Yeah, that's it.
He could do your set of templates, spray it on.
Yes, definitely.
Which would look better, but yeah, it depends what he's doing. It'd be interesting actually. Steampunk Phantom.
Phantom, yeah, definitely. We like the old steampunk stuff. Me and Steve have often said about giving it a go. Come on,
but it's finding the right thing, isn't it? I think it'd be nice doing some like 1950s American pickup truck and going to town with that. You could really have a bit of fun with that.
Definitely. Yeah, absolutely. So yes, again, as I say, Chris, it's one of those things. Have a look around and see exactly what you get. Right, okay, next up, Paul Martin says, "Hi Phil, just wanted to say that the one-day build show is a winner. It's great that the format can change for different builds. And the like. You keep it up for, I'm absolutely beat today, I don't know why, I'm really tired. You can keep it up, and as for some of the members not liking the Star Wars or sci-fi, bid Raspberry to them. They can get the most of the builds that they want of the time, and you do 1 month out of how many months. It would be handy, guys, if you broke this up so it wasn't like a giant block of text. Sorry, God. Steve, you want to read this? My eyes are killing me.
Read me?
Yeah, go on, you can read it.
Right, you've done that one.
Yeah, we're down to post 6. You can have a go.
Yeah, I thought the one-day build show is a winner. It's great that the format can change for different builds and the like. You keep it up, and as far as some members, not like in Star Wars, the sci-fi builds, or bid, spelt wrong, raspberry to them. They get most of the builds they want most of the time, and you do 1 month out of how many months that you have been doing this, and some people get all upset. God, this is the longest sentence ever.
No, yeah, it needs a bit of breaking up. Put some
Yeah,
paragraphs in.
I don't mind what gets built. I learn from every build you put out and thoroughly enjoy everyone. I only bring this up after one person had a whinge. You please keep mixing things up, and I think there's lots to be learned by us all. And there are sci-fi members too, so mixing it up is the right thing to do. Sorry about my dummy. I only realised I spat it out as it bounced off my iPad. It's all dog hairy now. LOL. Paul. Yeah,
Thank you, Paul.
it'd be nice if you could kind of even put a space in between each line, so it just helps Phil read it out or whoever.
Yeah, that's it. The thing is, as I say, with me, I just, when we first started out Flory models and all the rest of it, if you remember, it was literally just aircraft, or it seemed like it. And then we used to call it like the dark side. It was like somebody did armour. It was like, whoa, And then it was never my intention. I always wanted it to be all genres, all various bits and pieces. So I wanted to get the armour guys right in there. We wanted the sort of the naval guys, the civilian guys, the sci-fi guys, figure painting. All genres of the hobby in there to sort of bring it all up, because I'm a great believer in is that you do, and people do get really bored. You often hear about it, don't you? The members on the forum say, I've lost my mojo. And I'm like, go off and try something else, because some days I like to do a bit of armour. I find armour easier than doing aircraft. So with armour, it's more sort of, it goes together relatively easy. It's in a nice compact area. You can just do it, and then you can have lots of fun weathering and all bits and pieces. And it was a bit like doing that one. The resin casting off of this was absolutely atrocious, and all the rest of it. And it was like, right, okay, but it forces you to try something new. So what I did with this one, which I've never done before, is to do that lacquer right the way over it, that car lacquer job, because there were so many little tiny holes in it. I was looking at it and it was looking a bit like an aero bar, it's just bits all over it. So I thought, right, okay, well let's, just lacquer it, and hopefully it'll fill all the imperfections and it will smooth everything out very nicely. And lo and behold, it actually worked better than I ever thought. So it's like the little thing now that I'm thinking, anytime I'm going to work with resin now, I'm going to prime it and lacquer it and then work off of that, because it makes everything more solid and also a lot more durable as well. Because, as I say, handling it and all roughing it up, it doesn't seem to be as, weak, if you like. It seems to be more connected. The paint seems to grip on better, tighter, harder. And then doing the bluing work and the metal work on it as well has really worked, extremely well. So definitely learnt something from it, and that was the whole point of doing these things. And that's why I like the diversity of the models, and why we're going to have a go at some Gundam stuff next month, and all the different bits and pieces like that, is to really just mix it all up and do different sides of it, show different sides of the hobby, and then hopefully inspire people into doing it as well. So that's my theory anyway. Right, let's have another go. Okay, George says, hi Phil, I'm enjoying the live streaming for the first time. Welcome to the US time zone. I'd like your opinion on the new 148 scale Tamiya F14A Tomcat. I was surprised to see it didn't have extended flaps or slats. I like the scale down, it looks like a scaled down version of the 132nd kit. Do we need another F14A? Any thoughts? Love your vlogs, George. I must admit, please, can you shut the door as well, mate? My coffee lad's arrived. Be on shortly. I've got a coffee boy today. Right, yeah, my thought to it was when I heard Tamiya were first bringing out the Tomcat, which I must admit I learned a little while ago now, I was expecting something to have fully integrated everything, as in all the best bits we've seen from model kits over the last few years' releases, like the Mustangs and the Corsairs and everything else. And I was expecting it's going to have engines, it's going to have a detailed cockpit, it's going to have a radar, it's going to have a cracking weapons fit, and they'll probably do a D, or I thought they'd do a B or a D version of the Tomcat. And I thought, right, here we go, it'd be absolutely lovely, especially when you look at their F-16s and stuff like that. And then lo and behold, when it came out, it was probably the biggest disappointment I've had in kits in a long time, purely because we've heard about AMK, which is going to be the one, I reckon, a releasing one, which has got the engines, it's got the flaps, the slats, it's going to have all the different bits that that you can imagine. But it does seem to be that Tamiya have taken a step back, because the Hasegawa kit has slaps, flaps, all the bits and pieces. It doesn't have an engine, admittedly, but it's got all the bits and pieces you could ever want. You could have the nose in the drop-down position on the catapult, and all of that. And that kit is how old now? It's 20 odd years old. And that's got it. And it seems that Tamiya, I don't know, almost like a rushed release or something that's come along. It's like half of what we expected. So I must admit, I was very disappointed. That said, I did have an email doing the circuit thing for the AMK Tomcat, and I love the way in it they actually do say that this particular version will come with deployable flaps and slats, and it's got all the goodies you could ever want down in there. So it looks like they've really stepped it up now and everything else like that. So I probably will miss a Tamiya one. I probably won't even get one, because to me it's no different from the Hobby Boss one, which is pretty good because that's got slaps, flats and all the bits and pieces in it, or any of the others, the Hasegawa one. But the AMK one, if it is as good as the Foxbat and everything they're promising, should be a really nice kit. So, that's my point to it. Just remembered I moved my microphone. Can anyone actually hear me? Hold on. There we go, try that, might be a bit louder. So yeah, that's the thing to that one. Steve, are you excited for it?
No. It's got to be a beautiful, turn out into a beautiful kit, lovely model, but it's got to be kind of aimed more at your regular model builder, who just wants to build a kit, put it together, and have a nice looking model on his shelf. Personally, I'd want something with more detail. Yeah. You want it, especially like movable flaps. I think all kits should have that now. If you're building a jet, any type of aircraft, that's what you need. Yeah. So you can do it in different and pose it. So you could put yours next to somebody else at your model club, and yours could be slightly different because you've got the flaps in a certain position, they might not. So all that, and I think it's a step backwards instead of a step forward.
I must admit, and the thing is, a lot of people have said about, they've done the A version now, and obviously then they'll do the Bombcat, and then we'll get the Super Tomcat as well, the D. But I don't know, if you look at the way they did the F-16, the releases were quite slow with that coming out as well. Eventually they got there, but there's lots of gaps in that. They didn't really follow through, and when you look at the tooling, it enables you to have obviously the different front end in. We all expected to have the B and the D versions of the F-16, and they never ever turned up, and it was like, did they drop the ball on that? Because the 32nd kit again is a separate nose that allows it, and the 48th one, so I don't know. But the thing is, with Tomcats, when you look around, the Academy one isn't too bad, the Hobby Boss one we know is pretty decent kit, and the Hasegawa for its day as well is a brilliant kit. It's a really nice kit. I've built lots and lots of them. The detail is very good on it. So for basically Tamiya to come along the way they've done now and said, right, this is it, this is our latest release, I was expecting big things, and when I saw it I was like, right, where's the wings, where's the flaps, are they a separate? And it's like, no, it doesn't come with it, and it's like, really, that just seems really, really bad. And here comes my coffee. Cheers, dude.
To be honest, I think now with Tamiya you look more forward to what the next 1 to 30 seconds got to be, rather than 1 to 48.
Yeah, I must admit, with Tamiya though, I've said it before, we said it on these shows, I don't know, I think they're just losing their edge. Like Tamiya used to release something big. It was always that big thing every year. What's Tamiya's next big thing going to be? We had the Mustang and the Spitfire, they were beautiful, and then we had the Corsair, and it's like, and then then it was the Mosquito, and it was like all of a sudden it's almost like it was big steps, and it sort of plateaued, and now we're almost descending now. Yet you've got other companies coming along like AMK, and some of the new upstart ones are coming in right at the top. They're releasing kits that are really, really good. It does seem a little bit a bit wayward of Tamiya. I think they're losing their sight.
They're losing their position as well as at the top, aren't they? They kind of slipped down to probably about number 4 or 5 now.
Definitely, yeah. They are not my go-to company. If people said to me, who do you think's a good company? And then I'm looking at other companies now before I would ever think of Tamiya. And that is the thing. It just seems to be that they've been around so long, they almost got complacent, and they've got complacent now, and it's like, right, okay, well, now you need to up your game again, and they're just stalling and don't seem to be doing it. But we all know the thing is, you have to remember, and I've often reminded of this by people in that part of the world, that Tamiya isn't just about model kits. They do a lot of other things. Obviously, their RC range, they do a lot of school stuff, and the various. They even do cake decorating gear. That's how big Tamiya is. So it may be that they're just slightly putting on hold now the model making stuff and doing other things, and building up the company that way. Anyway, Chris says, "Hi guys, I'm currently doing the Revels Type 212 U-boat in 1/72nd. And I've messed up the paint. I've painted the rear first, if NATO, I presume it means in NATO black, over the grey, I think that's Steinel Res primer. Then the front half from the rear towards the forwards, but then have gotten the mix wrong or the pressure wrong on the front batch. As it goes down really thick. What's the best way to recover?" Okay, well the thing is, if you've switched from I don't know if that's supposed to be Steinel Res or Stornel's, and I don't know it, primer, the difference being is that if you've gone from a paint to a primer technically has a different sort of consistency in all the bits. It's usually a little bit thicker anyway than using paint. If I'm honest, with something like a U-boat, you might be better off just to rub it down and start again. You don't have to rub it back to plastic, but just to rub right over it with a fine grit, whatever, and go right over it, just to knock it back, rinse it back, and then just repaint it and start again. I think that would be your way to recover it. Because the thing is, if you're saying you haven't actually said what it's got, but I'm assuming you're thinking it's gritty and just not a nice finish to it. Well, the only way you're going to recover from that is to actually sand it back, because otherwise if you go over it, that grittiness is always going to come through. So that would be my way. What do you reckon, Steve?
Yeah, gentle rub down, and then if it still don't look nice to you, I'd just pick one of the first colour that you put over it, and then just put a really, really thin coat of that over the top, and that should just even it all out.
Yeah, just to blend it through. The thing is, as I say, there is other techniques. You can go down with a really wet coat of something right over it, but with blacks and that, you're probably better off just going back over it. Just a gentle rub right the way over it and starting again. And I'm thinking, because it's not like a complex shape that you'd have with something with wings and joints and all the rest of it, being a sub, it's quite easy just to give that a gentle rub down everywhere, and you shouldn't really have any problems with that one. Okay, Danny says, "Hello Phil and Steve, looking forward to today. Love the innovation with the vlogs and daily shows. Can you talk a little bit about the hairspray painting technique for weathering? Do you use it in any of your builds?" Go on, Steve, you're a hairspray guy.
Yeah, I don't use it actually in a bit of hairspray, but yeah, you put down, if you're doing it so you want rust coming through, obviously you prime it, put your rust colours down. I've always then seal it in with a coat of coat clear, and then I'll spray hairspray over the top. You get a nice coat of hairspray. Once it's dry, then you take your top colour of paint and kind of, you want to put a thin coat over. Don't make it too thick. It's the idea with the hairspray is, once you put your top layer of paint on, get a stiff brush with water, and the water penetrates the paint and then starts activating the hairspray underneath. So when you're rubbing on it, the paint starts peeling off it, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And so I always do it so it's faded in some areas, thicker in other areas, and give it that random fashion. And then obviously let your paint dry, and then get a stiff brush, cocktail sticks, anything you want to make your chips and scratches. Use warm water, dip your brush in it, and then just rub away at the paint. And what happens then, it softens the hairspray underneath and your paint starts coming away, and it'll reveal then the rust colours underneath. So I think that's hard. So it's hard. It's basically you're using water to activate the hairspray, and then the hairspray comes away and lifts the paint off as well at the same time.
Yeah, I think what's actually happening when you're doing the hairspray technique is obviously you've got your base colour underneath. That's what's going to show sort of through. By putting a thin coat of hairspray onto it, hairspray is water soluble almost. But it's almost, the way hairspray breaks down, it allows the water to flow underneath. And then what actually happens is that it sort of cracks and breaks up in quite a very random way, and that's the reason why people like it. Because it's not like if you was to just do normal acrylic paint and then you go over it, it might just peel. But with the hairspray, it just sort of dissolves a little bit, and then it sort of cracks and flakes, and it gives you crispy edges, almost sharp edges, which has a far more realistic look. The other option is obviously you can buy now chipping fluids, which are a little bit slightly different in the way they do it, but it's the same thing behind it. So you put your base colour down, chipping fluid, which I quite like, so you can hand paint it on as well. If you've got a small little bit of chipping you want to do, instead of having to like come out with a hairspray and doing it, you can literally just take a little bit of this, paint it on the area you want, let that dry, acrylic over the top, and then water and dab at it. But what you're doing is by chipping at it slightly, it's allowing the water to get in there. The water gets in and underneath, and then it lifts off and comes off very randomly, and that's the nice thing about it. Whereas if you used to use something like a gloss, you don't have much randomness to it. It tends to just peel off, okay, and that is the point to it. The other thing as well you can do with hairspray, isn't it, Steve? You can decant it, spray it into a can, and then if you don't want to do like a something with it, just spray it into like a bottle or something. Do it outside, because obviously you do get the whiff from it, okay, and then you can actually paintbrush that out as well onto the surface of what you want. The other thing with hairspray, of course, it dries extremely quickly because it is thin. So it's just a very thin, quick layer of it, and that is the other good thing about it. It's not like you're putting down a gloss and then going to be chipping into it. You've got to wait for that gloss to dry. This way, it's all very, very quick. You put your base colour down, that dries. Put your hairspray over the top, that dries almost instantly. Then you can put your next colour on top and then chip into it, and then if you want to, various levels of it, and work your way through.
Yeah, but it's key. If you put too thick a coat of paint over the top of the hairspray, your water struggles to get through it, and it makes it really, really difficult to start the chipping effect. So, like I say, just kind of mist your paint on in some areas, vary how much the coverage of your paint. I think that gives you a really nice effect as well.
Yeah, because this guy here, if you remember, or if you've seen it, when we did this is silver underneath here. The whole point is that we can naturally wear through into it, and it's something I'm going to do. But the whole point is on this scale, you want big lumps of it to come off. It's not like I want little chips, okay? I want to actually have bits peel off, if you like, so it would look very realistic. So from this point of view, that's why it's got a lacquer coat down in there to protect it, seal everything up anyway. But the whole point is when I do put water over top, because it's just acrylic, hasn't been overcoated yet at all, that it will enable the water to get in there. You can always peel lumps of it off, okay? And you can do things like that. So that is the thing with that one. It's just different ways of doing it. But as you say, on different scales. So that's why for that instance it wasn't done like a chipping hairspray effect, because it would be tiny little things you'd hardly see. But on a small model, looks absolutely spot on and very realistic.
Yeah, but I think the reason these companies came out with the different chipping fluids is that some hairsprays behave differently to others. So some will easily,
well, it's why we're saying it's cheap water, hairspray.
Yeah.
The cheapest ones are the best.
Yeah, you want, because it needs to, it's the water needs to react with it, where some of these really posh, expensive, waterproof or blah, blah, blah hairsprays, extreme hold, they go via.
Yeah, they don't do it. So that's what, like me, I must admit, I've got a can of Asda's. It's down here. Mine's the cheap green and white striped Asda hairspray. Because you don't want a good one. Because to say a good one, if you're off there with your L-net, ain't going to move. Once it's on, it's going to lock in. Okay, you have real troubles with it. I just noticed on screen I'm covered in crap. That's because I washed the car just before we came on air. I've got bits flicked off all the my wheels. Okay, so next up we've got Thomas. Hi Phil and Steve. Question regarding the newish Vallejo metallic paints and ink wash. I've actually finished. I must be an animal group build. Camera pans out, Phil stares blankly into the camera for a few seconds, and then a most imperceptible rise of an eyebrow. Right, okay. I can't do eyebrows. Don't do eyebrows. Okay, but he's actually finished one, so that's it. You're going to get your medal. Okay, so anyway, no, seriously, working on the write-up and the pictures to upload now. Anyway, one of the models is a seaplane, and my Indian ink wash has destroyed my metal finish on the pontoons. So we've got a picture here, which, hold on, I can show the world his picture, as long as I remember to put this on the right one. Okay, so anyway, no, seriously, working on the write-up and the... Let me just get rid of that. Okay, where are we? There he is. That's it. Everyone can see this. Can you see this, Steve? What he's done?
Yes. Yeah.
So when you say, I painted the floats with Vallejo Air Gloss Black. Then it dried it down with a Vallejo. When dried, sprayed it down with a Vallejo metallic dull aluminium. Then dried for around about 4 to 5 hours. The dull aluminium was pretty bright, actually, so I wanted to knock it back a bit and accentuate the detailing with an Indian ink wash. Now, didn't take a before picture because I was like, what could go wrong? But imagine the finish on Phil's Starfighter build. The Indian ink and tap water mix was used a little to a lot. When I brushed it onto the thing, started happening immediately. The wash effectively stripped the metallic surface. It seems to leave behind a grey carrier layer, random chunks of metallic flecks here and there. I have a picture below, and that's what I'm looking at. It looks quite good. It looks like it's weathered.
I think it looks bloody brilliant, to be honest. It looks as though it has just been pulled out of the river in its... the metal's oxidised.
Yeah, that's what it looks like. You know when aluminium oxidises and it has that look? My Land Rover used to look like that. Actually, this sort of thing, along the line of this effect, was after, but not etching away through the metallic layer completely. I've not been able to test this any further because the need to get the final build to the photos. Have you seen anything like this before? No. Should I have waited longer before applying the ink wash like this? Another thing that floats and has been sprayed several times with Kicker for super glue on the rigging. Could this affect the finish combined with the wash? Now, as I say, actually, I have to say, I do like the look of that. That actually looks like oxidised aluminium. And I bet if you were trying to do that, you'd never do it. Yeah, a few watermarks in there.
No, I tell you, if you've got some oil paint, green oil paint, just to simulate, your kind of algae.
Yeah, that's it, algae. Yeah, absolutely.
That looks brilliant. I would leave that. That is one of those very, very lucky accidents.
Yeah, a happy accident. It's a Bob Ross moment on that.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you were trying to recreate that, that would be a real nightmare to try and do.
But now we know how.
Yeah. But the reason is how. What he wants to know is how. Now, the only thing I can think of is that the aluminium acrylic hadn't totally cured. Or when you sprayed it on, it was a very light sort of dusty coat and it hadn't adhered properly. And what I'm thinking is the ink wash has reactivated the said coat and then it's lifted it a little bit. But in the case of happy accidents, I think that's fantastic. The only other thing you're saying is you have been spraying Kicker around. I'm wondering if the Kicker might have reacted a little bit, because sometimes Kicker, it does go everywhere, and although it dries clear, obviously leaves a film behind. Maybe that did something, I'm not too sure. I haven't tried Kicker with the Vallejo's metallic metal colour range yet. But no, I must admit, I'm very impressed. Doesn't take much to impress me and Steve, but that's actually quite impressive, that one.
So what I personally do is, if you would like me to delete this post, but nobody knows, and then you can say, look at my amazing weathering.
Yeah, absolutely. That is the thing. Sometimes, I'm a classic example for doing it. When things slightly go wrong, I will use it to your advantage, and that is definitely a one, because looking at that photo like that, that looks like an extremely technical weathering job on it, to the point where I wouldn't even know how to begin to do something like that, because that looks like a very in-depth chipping effect or whatever it is down in there. But I would call it a happy little accident and move on, definitely, because it looks just like how it should be. So yeah. So anyway, delete that one, Steve, for him, and nobody will know. You can tell everyone he's invented a new way of doing weathering.
It does. It looks like almost like one of these Soviet aircraft that's been abandoned in the runway. You know, that's been left there for 40 years, and that is brilliant effect.
No, it is very, very nice. So yeah, I wouldn't worry about that one too much. I would just live with it a little bit. Okay, so Dave says, hi Phil and Steve, great to have you back on the Saturday. Loving the one-day build and the vlog style. My question is, in your opinion, is the holy grail of model collectors, i.e. limited runs and special edition out of production kits, be interesting to know how much these kits would be worth or most expensive. I have the Dragon 2653 Tiger from 2005 with all the goodies in the box. Wondering if the price of the kit will only ever increase due to it not being available anymore. I've been watching. I'll be watching as ever. P.S. Would love to see Steve build more on the live streams if possible. That's it, Steve. Get building. Keep going. Yeah, I think, to be honest, do you know what? When I was putting up those kits for sale yesterday, when I put up the AFV F5F, I had no idea how much it was worth, because I've had that in my stash now for the last, since the day it came out. I've got the other one, the single seat, and I thought I'll do the single seat, but I'm never going to do the two seat, so we'll sell it. I looked on eBay, and then I had a look on Google. Somebody's got it up on eBay for £100. It's actually up for £99.50 on a buy it now. And it says on there that it was out of box, out of production, blah 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 blah, which I thought was criminal in the first place. I had a look on Google and looked around at it, and there was a couple of places flogging it, and it's around about 50 quid. So total bargain that was. I wasn't going to be greedy and all the rest of it, and I wasn't going to put it back, because otherwise it's just going to sit here gathering dust. I'd rather it went to a nice home. But as you say, I think one of the members got that for, I think it was 30 quid, to 20 quid, 30 quid. So some things definitely do go up in price. Other things, they tend to be fad-like. I remember, this is going back to around about the early 2000s, the Matchbox Victor tanker. Do you remember that one, Steve?
Yeah.
Reboxed by Revell. Okay, but until the Reeboks came along by Revell, you couldn't get it. And they were on eBay, bearing in mind this is back in the early days of eBay, they were going for stupid money. They were 75 quid, 100 quid on there. I saw one at one point, somebody put it up at like 400 odd quid. Didn't sell, but because you couldn't get it and people wanted that particular kit. Then Revell went and reboxed it and did it in the desert one. And the market dropped off from it. But you do tend to find some kits are a staple and they always go up in price. Other kits, they get superseded and they lose their collectability. But kit collecting, I think, is going to be a dying art. I think the early ones, then fair enough. But because companies like Trumpeter and all the rest of it kick out so many, to be a kit collector of all of theirs, you're going to need a warehouse. So on that point of thing. But I remember I bought the F-16s, the Tamiya ones, brand new. I think they were $69.99. Now they're like 130 quid. And various things like that. I know I've got Thunderbirds one down there. That's out of production at the moment, but you can guarantee it will make a visit somewhere along the line. So certain things at certain times, they seem to jump up in value. But from a kit collector's point of view, I think it's one of those things, you can almost kid yourself that it's going to be worth a lot of money, and it depends if you can sit on it a long time, then fair enough it is. But don't forget, it is the usual thing, to a kit collector it has to be mint, so the box has got to be spotless, it's got to be sealed, no yellowing, no nasties and all the bits and pieces in there, which is pretty hard to keep a kit that way. But a lot of it is supply and demand. Some kits, like I get them because obviously with the Kit Buyers Club and with the sales team and stuff like that, I hear about them and they're trying to get hold of various bits and pieces and you can't find it, so the price artificially goes up on eBay. But from a business point of view, the kit is only worth what the recommended trade price is at the end of the day. So if you hold on and it comes back in stock, then it's at the right price. But I'm definitely not a kit collector. Are you, Steve? You do kit collecting?
No, I don't. I'll just move my camera down so you can see.
But it's a bit like the Bandai stuff. Before Christmas, it was on eBay going for stupid money. because all the big scare came up about, oh, you can't buy it anymore and it's not going to be available, and there's Millennium Falcons down on there going for stupid money. The Fine Mold one, for instance, which is, we all know Revel's about to re-release it, is got like something like 500 quid on eBay. Just wait another couple of months, and when the Revel one comes up, which is a Rebox, it's going to be standard pricing with them. It's going to be expensive. It won't be cheap, but it's not going to be 500 quid.
Yeah.
So
the only ones I can think of now that people could collect, stuff like your Eddard Royal Class boxings, because they're not going to bring them out again. And I think it's the same for Wingnut Wings kits. I don't think they've once they've sold. That's it,
they do a run of, and that's it.
Yeah, so they could be worth. I don't know. I could find something better to collect than a kit.
If you're doing it for an investment point of view, I think you're not going to make any money on it at the end of the day. I know, it is that thing. We all look at our stash and we all tell our partners, oh, it's, I don't know, a couple of £100. In theory, you've got thousands of pounds worth of kits out there. But it's only worth what anyone's willing to pay for it. And I know companies who go around and buy stashes up, and they give you pence for it. At the end of the day, they're there to make money. They're a business. But occasionally, sometimes you might have a gem in your collection. I don't seem to have any that way. So it is that thing of supply and demand. But as Steve has said, royal resin stuff, or stuff that is just a limited run of, like the Wingnut Wings. But then again, how sure are we they're not going to release another batch at some other date?
Yeah.
So it does make it very difficult to do them. So, I don't know. As I say, it just seems to be that kit collectors, if you go to the shows and that, you get people that specifically just do that. That's what they do. But they're looking for the old 70s stuff, and various things like that. It doesn't seem to be our stuff, the sort of more modern stuff that you might want to collect, so to speak.
I'm going to say, can you remember, were it the a Jetstream, a resin one, a summer, a few years ago, and that was just going at ridiculous money. I think they got to... say 40, 50 quid kit, we ended up at £250, £300. People go silly over just for a special bit of resin because it no longer exists.
That's it, yeah.
And you think, why?
Yeah. It does seem to be the thing as well, is that, eBay, it seems to be almost the driving force behind it. And that's the thing I can't really work out, because just because it's expensive on eBay and somebody puts it up at 500 quid, why everybody else then jumps on the bandwagon and goes for it as well? It's just people ripping it off. But you see it on there all the time and you think, why the hell would anybody pay that? But people must do it. That's the crazy thing. And why they do it is beyond me, But there again, I'm a builder, not a collector. If you're a collector, I suppose it's worth whatever you're willing to pay for it at the end of the day.
Well, our friend Matt, he looks at eBay quite a lot and he knows what stuff's going for. And you'll see him at model shows and you go, what the hell you bought that for? And then you realise he knows what's selling.
Yeah, that's it.
And he'll just sell it on a Met money, And fair play to him.
Yeah.
If you, it's like anything, if you bother looking and researching what's people are paying daft money for, and then go looking for that kit so you can profit, go for it.
Yeah, definitely.
But I need a stash clearance as well, like you, Phil.
Yeah, I know. The thing is I look at it. To be honest, I get a lot of requests from members and things like that, and other people, and they say, "Oh, I noticed in your stash you had such and such. I've been after that kit. Well, would you consider?" And I always say, "No." But I'm looking at it, and honestly, somebody said the other week in one of the shows, "Am I ever going to build it?" And it actually made me have a think after the show, and I'm sat here looking at it, thinking, "I'd love to build that. I'd love to build that." But why have I got like 5 Spitfires in 1/48 scale? I've got a load of 109s, and it's like, well, look, I've got the Eddard one, and I've got the, the Profi Pack one down there. I've got the aftermarket engines and that. You can't see them over there for them and the things. And I'm thinking, but I'm only ever probably going to build 1, maybe 2, in my life. So I'm thinking, let's get rid of the other 3, because really it's not worth it. And that's what I've done. I've gone along, and a lot of the stuff I've got tubular. It's like the F5F. I've gone because I've got the single seat version, so I'm never going to do both of them. I've got like the MiG-29s, and it's like, right, let's get rid of them. And I've gone through that one, and I've thought of, right, okay, I'm not going to build that, or I've got it in other markings and things like that. So, let's do it. But the ones upstairs, for instance, which are going to go up tomorrow, there's a bit of armour up there in with it as all the rest of it, and it's like, really, am I going to build it? Probably not, The difference between my stash, it's almost a real stash. It's not like a collectible one. I try and keep it that I would build everything in my stash, so that's why it's gone. I've got some stuff in there. I'm thinking, would I really build it? And then I think, yeah, but I'd really like to. Like, for instance, I've got the Kitty Hawk Lightnings F-35s down there. I've got the B and the C. I know it's a horrible kit. I know it's crap. I know it's going to drive me mad. But actually, until somebody releases a better version of it, that's the only one in town, and I would like to build it. So, and that's the thing with it. So, I was trying to be ruthless. Like, that's it. No, it's going. We're going to get rid of it.
Yeah, I should really put a picture up of my stash and then say, look, if anyone fancies out, let us know.
Yeah,
it's like,
if you see something.
When I've sold to the guys who come to the meetings and that, I'll only get back what I've put into it. You know, I'll let them, I don't want to charge silly money and make a profit out of people. I'd rather it just go to a good home.
Yeah.
I get roughly back what I paid for it, and we're all happy.
Yeah, definitely. Absolutely. But no, what I'm going to do now is, to be honest, obviously I still intend to do a lot of the kit reviews, but then what I'll do is I'm going to then probably, if it's nothing that I'm going to build straight away, I'll bring it. If anyone's interested in this kit, let me know and I can do you a deal on it.
Yeah.
Slightly used.
When my husky comes in, I'll let you review it.
All right, okay, I'll review it for you.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's the thing with that one. Right, okay, so Mark says, did we do that one? Yeah, all right, that was Dave. Okay, Mark says, hi Phil and Steve, firstly, the one-day build was a brilliant idea. Regardless of the modelling subject, the techniques used can be applied to any model in the hobby, and was able to pick up quite a few techniques for some of my current builds. By the way, using the styrene filler for repairing accidental scribing lines on the Vulcan panel lines worked a treat. Thanks for that tip, guys. I have another question regarding this build, which I hope you can help with. I'm fitting some correction resin jet pipes for the Vulcan. So this is the 72nd one. All my previous experience working with resin has been fitting cockpits, wheel wells, radio shelves, the engines internally. Where the join lines are hidden inside the fuselage and the wings, so there's no need to fill them. My current Vulcan build, the resin jet pipes are attached to the model where the join will be external and be visible. I know there will be some filling and sanding to come, but will homebrew styrene filler work on the joins between styrene and resin? My thoughts are no, as it would not bond the styrene, but not the resin. What are your thoughts on the matter? Would be to suggest going down the talc and CA filler mix that you did on your Han Solo blaster, or would you suggest something else? Keep up the great work. You're definitely on the right track with the live vlogs and one-day builds. Once again, thanks so much for all your help. P.S. I hope the roof is held up with all the rain that you've been having over there. Just about. Right, okay.
I'll show you on here, Phil, if you don't mind.
Yeah, go on, let me put your big. Go.
Right, let's just get it. If you can see, just at the front.
Bit of white glare. Stick your hand over the. That's it. That's it. Perfect. Yeah.
Right, you might be able to see it. Right at the very front where I put the combing on, there's a little bit of white sprue. I needed to fill that off, so I've cut too much plastic away. I needed filling, so yeah, it does. As long as there's enough plastic styrene there, you can use styrene filler.
Yeah.
Or like I did there, I used a bit of white rod as a filler, and it goes on perfect. Otherwise, if it's just pure resin, you'd have to use super glue.
Yeah. What the thing is, I would suggest, it's a little trick that I do, is when you're doing something that's seen, so that's, imagine you've got like a wing and it's going on, you're going to need something that's going to attach permanently with the actual resin. The best thing for that, to be honest, is super glue, and you want it to be clean. So make sure both parts are completely sanded, okay, and super glue it. But what you can do, that is your bond, if you like. That's what's going to hold your two parts together, will be the CA glue, okay? Then you can go along the route of going in there, if you wanted to, with styrene filler over the top of it. And then that way it will sand beautifully between the two, okay? But if you're going to go in there with something like using CA glue, super glue, crazy glue as a filler, it's really hard. You end up going in. So you can do the thing of like the talc route I used if you wanted to do something like a concrete mix, and it was a quick fix, do it like that. But if you're doing it where you've got plastic and resin, then I would actually use the actual styrene resin, because what will happen is it will go down in there, it will soak, it will self-level, and then you can seamlessly blend between the two, because it will sand, it will stick to the resin, but it's not going to be as strong as something normal. But just for a filler, it will work fine. So we're assuming you've done the wing, you've cut the actual engine section out, you're doing it as a drop-in fit, but you've got the gaps around the edge. Super glue it, then put the styrene filler over the top. So the actual super glue is the hold, and you're using the styrene filler as literally the filler, which you can sand, blend, rescribe into, and all the bits and pieces. Or if you wanted to make it like the concrete effect, like we did with the blaster, if you mix it with the talc, it doesn't make it quite as hard. But the whole point really isn't so much sanding it, is that if you just use super glue, even the thickest super glue, it has a habit of self-leveling, okay? The thing about mixing it with the talc, and that's what we did with the blaster, and we showed you, I mixed it like a concrete. So the more talc you added, the thicker this stuff got. So literally you can roll it up into a ball, push it into a hole if you wanted to, mould it into shape, kicker, it will lock it there, and away you go. So if you've got like a situation with a huge gap, I do the talcum CA glue trick. And that's what we did on here, because we had those big bubbles. It was the quickest and the easiest way to do it. But you know, if you were doing something as well that's all resin, then I wouldn't use like a styrene one onto it, because it won't bite onto it. It won't physically adhere to it like something else will. The other trick as well with using resin is if you sand it quite coarsely, so there's a little bit of texture into it, then whatever you stick it to, because don't forget, it's not like a weld action that's melting together, it's only what it can grip to. So if it's got a little bit of coarseness on the resin, it means that the actual glue, the CA glue, when it dries, will be rock hard, and it's got loads and loads of grip, and it isn't going to go anywhere.
And another little,
to be honest, what I did on the blaster. Yeah.
Make sure sometimes it's best using a bit of IPA first, just to wipe your resin, to make sure there's no release agent, especially when you're using it as a filler. Because what you can find is you come to sand it, and it just comes out because there's no, or if there's dust in the background, a bit of resin dust, make sure it's totally clean before you put your super glue on.
Yeah, because the thing with super glue, at the end of the day, especially if you're doing photo etch and stuff like that, if it hasn't got a proper, good, flat, solid grip to it, it just falls off. It's very hard to get it to stick. But also, I did it when we did the Hein 24. If you remember, I had the photo etch. You can put in there like a drop of super glue holds it, but to fill it around the edge, I put in the styrene filler. So you're using literally the super glue as the hold, but the fill, use then styrene filler, because the styrene filler will stick to photo etch, but it's not going to grip it. It's not going to be hold. Like if you was to flick it, it would just peel off and come off in one. But you can do it that way. Okay, Archie says, hi Phil and Steve, as a new member, which he is, third post, bless. As a new member, I've not, having used this forum before, I hope I've posted in the right place. You certainly have. I'd like everything that is done on the show, and watch every show I can. For the first question, I intend to make all my aircraft that have been stationed at the nearby Lossiemouth, and wondering if there are any good 148th Buccaneers or Nat kits on the market. Archie, friend, I've been after a good 148th Buccaneer, and I have been hinting for how long on this bloody show now? As we've been doing live shows for the last 2 years, I say it on almost every show. And I keep hinting, I'm waiting for a good company to come out with one, because we've heard rumours, I've been told stuff, and I've just yet to see one. But as soon as a good Buccaneer comes out, I will build it on its day of release, because it's something I've been after for years and years and years. At the end of the day, in 48, your only option is the Airfix one. There is a resin option as well, but let's face it, the Airfix one, it's not perfect, it's crude, it's a bit of a handful, but if you take your time with it, actually it's not too bad. Gone are the day. I don't know if you remember, Steve. Do you remember in the 90s, was it? They were selling them. They came out as a re-release by Airfix, and there was a bit of a cock-up, and they were putting 2 kits in every box. So everybody ended up with 2 kits, but only 1 set of decals.
No,
they were the good ones, the dual pack ones.
I know there were a few years ago, people were selling them for silly money, weren't they?
That's it, because again,
Absolute.
limited supply and demand and doing it. As for the gannet, was it the gannet you mentioned? Who does the gannets?
I think Revel
48?
do one, don't they? But is it the Revel anti-submarine one?
Yeah, there was another company, isn't there? One of the limited run companies do a better gannet, I think.
Special Hobbies.
Is it Special Hobby do the
Oh
gannet?
no, it's Classic Airframes. Sorry,
That's it, Classic Airframes. They do the gannet. Again, it's an older kit. It's quite a nice kit, to be honest. That would be the one to go down through. But yeah, look, a man after my own heart. He likes gannets and buccaneers. Well done, Archie. Me and you together.
Yeah, I'd love the a brand new 1 to 48 gannet, the AEW one.
Yeah, what, with the big bulbous chin on it?
Yeah. There's one that they have one at the Yorkshire Air Museum, and I love it.
Yeah, I've got one down at Yolton. Looks really nice.
Yeah, well, it's ugly, but it's one of those. It's ugly. You want to build it.
Absolutely, I think with the gannet as well, it is that thing. As I say, contra rotating, bloody great props on the front of it. It's a big, unwieldy thing. It doesn't even look like that nice in the air, but it's because it's big. It's like, very impressive. I do like it.
Yeah.
So there you go. That's one of those ones where people say to me, "What would you build in 1/32?" And I've often said I'd do a gannet. Can you imagine a gannet folded up in 1/32?
Oh, that'd look beautiful.
It'd look absolutely stunning. And the way the gannet folds up as well with its wings, be absolutely fantastic. So there we go.
Before that, there'll probably be another 14 1/32 Tomcats, Phantoms, and you name it.
Yeah.
Last thing on the list.
Probably. Yeah, they bring out all the rubbish. It would be nice actually if Trumpeter. Perhaps I'll shoot him an email.
Yeah.
Dear Trumpeter, please do a bloody Buccaneer, because you've got one in the wings, and get that out. But also, we quite fancy a gannet, and if it's in 32nd, that'd be lovely. So yeah, that's to be honest, Archie, that is the thing. There's no brilliant ones out there, but that's the thing. Okay, Jason, who's third post. Everyone's quite low on post today. Hi Phil, love what you're doing with the daily shows. That one-day build of the blaster was excellent. Actually made me want to try out something in resin. I highly recommend it. Just remember, health, I will say it and bang on, because everyone keeps saying to me, did you wear a mask? I've got a giant extractor with a very good filter in it. And that's what, even when I was doing the drilling and I was doing my milling bit, that was I had the extractor in my hand, because otherwise I couldn't see what I was doing. So fear not, everyone, because I know I had 2 emails overnight saying you weren't wearing a mask whilst drilling, and I'd got the extractor in my hand, so I was alright. But it's not as hard as it seems. It's just prepare yourself for bubbles.
I'll tell you another little good tip as well. When you're working with resin, put a piece of kitchen roll down on your bench and wet it. So if you are cutting and sanding, any dust will hopefully land on the kitchen roll and stick to it.
Yeah, that'd be handy. Yeah, definitely. There's all little things you can do, guys, but as I say, think of your health. Okay, so I'm currently building there you go, Steve, you're up, the Meng Abrams, which is great, and the detail is right up there. Although I must admit, I agree with your review, the general quality isn't at the same level as previous Meng kits. So many ejector pins left on, and even a few fit issues, almost as if it was rushed out. I have just finished doing the tracks, which, although very daunting, when I looked at the instructions, really weren't that painful to do once you get to the finished tracks. Looked excellent. My question is, how would you go about painting them? The instructions say to paint the outside edge gunmetal, the inner pads rubber black. However, the parts are very small. It will be hard to mask effectively. Have you any ideas on the best way to go about doing this? Finally, however, about doing a battleship in the future, maybe the next mega build. I hear there's a nice HMS hood, released by Trumpeter. Many thanks. In advantage. I reckon he's done that on his iPad. I think it means in advance.
Yeah.
Jason. Yes. Right. I think, yes, they might have rushed it out personally, because it just didn't seem, I was reviewing it, didn't seem as good. As for tracks, I know my way of doing it. I would use buffables and just burnish them on the outside like I did the gun. That'd be quick and easy. That'd be nice metally ones on the outside, leave them in the middle for the rubber bit.
Well, it depends. If it were in a desert, yeah, because obviously the sand
Yeah.
polishes it basically. But my preferred way is I'll start by spraying them flat earth.
Mhm.
Um, then I'll probably go over with a couple of the kind of rusty coloured paints. Give them a wash, dark brown wash. Then put all your sand coloured washes on, any pigments, blah blah blah. And then right at the very end, dry brush the pads with your rubber colour, and
Yeah.
only do it a bit so it's still all the dust is seen. Go over that, and then the final, very final thing is if you get a lead pencil, a soft lead like 2HB or something really soft lead,
Yeah.
and then just go over the raised edges of the track,
Mhm.
so it looks as though you, and then just put a bit of lead on there. It gives it a nice polish, and it looks as though where it's been in contact with the ground,
Mhm.
and it makes it look really nice.
Cool. Yeah. Very nice.
But don't forget on the Abrams, the centre of the hub, if I remember correctly, is clear, so they can see the lubricant in the middle of the wheel, see
Oh,
what that
right.
level's like.
Ah. So I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Very good. So there we go. Try it that way.
But that's a good basis for all tracks
Yeah.
starting off, because they always have that kind of, right in the thing, that kind of rustiness to them, being
Yeah.
steel, all that. So flat earth or a red brown or any rusty colours, and then build up from there. For some, like for World War Two, you could even put get a bit of sponge and put a bit of green chipping on, or whatever the base colour of the tank is, because obviously when they're spraying it, the green paint will go all over the tracks.
Yeah.
Put a little bit of that in and amongst the tracks, and works a treat.
Yeah. Good ideas. Brilliant. Okay, so Michael says, hi Phil and Steve, I'm mainly a 135th builder, usually Israeli Defence Force, but I find the other subjects you build very helpful, ships, planes, sci-fi, and even laser guns. The metal work on that looks so real. If you kept the same subjects day in, day out, it will soon get very boring. You've converted me into Bandai kits, which are a work of art in themselves. I hope the car is going great. Yeah, news what is, yeah. As I work for the company that makes the fuel tanks for them. Fingers crossed. Loving the daily blogs and really enjoying the one-day build. All the best, Mick. Thank you, Mick. I have to say the car's going absolutely great. The one thing I'm amazed by it is, though, is that how many 74 to the gallon I've got out of it the other day. That's like ridiculous. And no, I wasn't doing like, driving like Miss Daisy. That was just generally come down the motorway doing 70 mile an hour and it's up to 74 to the gallon. I couldn't believe that. My old one would be struggling to get 20, 22 to the gallon. So yes, we can highly recommend these, can't we, Steve? Bandai.
Oh, definitely. They're out.
Out
Just
of this world.
in, yeah, they're in their own league, aren't they?
Definitely.
I'd love for them to start building some aircraft and
Yeah.
more arm and stuff like that, because you get a brilliant kit.
Yeah, I must admit the we were discussing it the other day. Those aircraft transformer type ones, isn't it? Because they've done the Draken, but it changes into a robot. That looks quite good. So and various things out there. So there's always different things now. But yes, but no. The thing is, as I say, I try and produce different things for different people that can all be connected, as you say, like with that one doing the resin. It was all about resin and painting resin and all bits and pieces like it. As I say, Star Wars Blaster aside and all the rest of it, although, it turned out great. But that's the whole point. It's really just trying to keep us doing different things, different interests and everything else like that. And for me, it was one of those things, because we had the roofers in and the banging around and all the rest of it, it was like, it didn't matter if they was banging and crashing whilst I was doing it. So, but it worked really, really well. It came out a lot better and I enjoyed it a lot more than I thought I would. Right, okay. Mind your fingers. Why aren't you using your proper snippies?
Oh yeah, I should have been really. That's why I went arcs. It hurt my hand. I'm really quite a thick sprue gate.
Right, okay, so good morning, Phil. Steve from California. Hey, look, they're up. I have a question. Sorry, this is Dave. I have a question on the difference between seam lines and a step. I was watching the MiG-21 and the older Academy F4 builds where you talk about the step using the skinny standers and razor blades or Alex scrapers to get rid of them. I'm struggling trying to understand the difference between a seam line and a step. And when you use filler and versus scraping away the seam of the step. Enjoying the shows and always learning. Okay, so a seam is technically when it's two halves are level, okay, but you've got a gap. So it's like that, okay. A step is when one side is higher than the other. Okay, so if you've got a step situation, it's usually on a flat part. So a classic example is the underside here. I can show you this one. If I just go full screen. Okay, this technically down the back here would be a seam. Okay, because it's level, but there's a little bit of a gap down there. All right, under here, you might see it because I haven't done it yet. This here is actually a step. If I run my nail across, it gets to there and stops. If I come across here, you can hear it drop. Okay, that is a step. So you've got two options with this. Because the step isn't that high, you could sand it into the same height as the one on this side. Or you could fill up to it. So then it's just a case of, you know, what is your personal preference, a way of doing it. And this, because it's had a load of filler put down here, just along it, it's probably easier for me to come along with, like here, we've got a coarse sanding stick. I'll clean that off. Okay, down in here. And all we're going to do, without poking the windows through continuously, is just going to come across. I don't like to do a 90-degree angle because I find you bed in too much. Okay, so I tend to go 45 degrees to the join, and we're just going to sand in. Now you can probably see you've got a clear spot, and then it's raising merry hell along the top. Okay, and if I just do this more for speed than everything else, so if you come in, I'm just going to run down. What we're trying to do is drop the step so it blends in to the other one. Okay, so if we just go along here, and as long as you've got enough height in the actual plastic itself, you should be able to drop it down, and you can see how it's blending together now. Okay, and this is literally just time. It's not affecting details, it's not affecting anything on here. Okay, but what it's actually doing is enabling you to get away without using filler. And filler, as we know, is going to take a while to dry, it's going to slow down your building and everything else like that. Got a knife all then. Okay, so that's it in there. Then if we come across here, okay, so if I show you, if I have got a Sharpie somewhere, I've got a red Sharpie, red count, oh there's a black Sharpie. If I show you down in here, okay, and then again we'll just use the coarse side, but you can see now that step that we had, you can see it quite clearly. Is going. Okay, so you can see down here it's flat, there's no across there at all. Here we've still got a little bit, but it's going. So in this case, to be honest, I would always come in and I would try and sand this out. Okay, because it's just being lazy and it's being quicker than having to mess around with coming in with fillers and then trying to blend them across and all those different things like that. Okay, so if I just come in here, and what you're doing is literally just waiting for everything to disappear. Okay, and then we'll just come back the other way. Bit difficult because we've got loads of detail around here, but you can see now that's gone. Now if we'd had to come in with filler, we'd probably still be filling this as we speak, but because you've got a thickness in the plastic, you can see we've taken it out completely. So if we just switch over to the polisher, if we just go over,
I've got to say, Phil, to start with, would you ever use a scraper just to get?
Probably not on that type of thing. I'm just about to show the scraper bit, because the thing is, it's on a flat. Okay, now the trouble is, if you used to use a scraper, he said, looking for his scraper. Where's all these scrapers? Hold on. Oh God, I've had a tidy up. Right, scrapers. Sorry. Okay, so your scrapers, the trouble is, because it's got a step and it's on an edge, if you try and do it, what tends to happen is you tend to dig this edge out as well. Okay, but what I would do is if you've got a curve like here, and it's on more of a curved surface than a flat one, so like on the top here, we were doing a bit of sanding earlier, but you could use just the flat part as well, and you can literally, if you've got the step is higher, I'm trying to look for somewhere where there's a step and it's slightly higher, but because it's on a curve, you can literally just blend the two in. So like for instance on here, we can just do that and take out that entire edge. And to be honest, we've got a little bit of a step going on here, but I tend to use scraping more on where it's an edge, because that way you can blend it seamlessly into both, rather than trying to do it on a flat when it's on a flat together. Okay, so something like down on here, where you might have a little bit of an edge, you can probably come in here with one of these. That's too small. Let's grab a curved one. You might see we've got a tiny little step just in between these two. We can literally just pop in then, and you might be able to see the shininess difference. Catch it in the light, but we've got a little bit of, see the shininess down there?
Can.
If you watch, it should, in theory. That's just because where it hasn't gone, like now it's going. Okay, and then down on these as well. So you can, I tend to use scraping like this more on curved edges than I would on a normal, and obviously you can come in then if you wanted to and just take out the little bits.
I think you kind of learn after a while when's best for you to scrape, don't you?
Yeah.
And when you prefer it.
But if it's a step like we had here, it was a clear step down there, I wouldn't have done it. I would have sanded across like here now because it's all nice and smoothed in. But if you've got a step on a curve, I'll just drop one into the other. I'll use one of these and I'll just come in like down on here on that edge. But like up on here, there's a little tiny step going in here. I don't think it's worth probably scraping it, because the thing is, if I do it, you're going to just make damage like on each side of it. It's not really getting in there properly. If we try a smaller scraper, you know, so it's very difficult to do it. So I'd rather come in with a sander and physically get in there and sand it away than to come in like here at the front. We've got a tiny little step there again to get in and scrape it out. I don't think it's going to work too much because you're just going to dig it all around. If it's any type of a curve, then yes, I would, you know, absolutely. I'll come straight in and be the first one in there to sand it and all the rest of it. But like down in here, you can't really get into this detail, so I'm more inclined to cut like this, just to come in and sand the hell out of it and put the details in afterwards. So down in here, to be honest, we've got super glue, we've got fillers, we've got everything running around in this section just to try and get rid of it. To try and scrape it would be particularly difficult. But my golden rule, literally, if you're doing a flat area, you know, then I'll sand it. If you're doing any type of curve, I'll scrape it, you know, and do it that way. I just find it easier than messing around and trying to do it in other ways, you know.
Yeah.
But again, it's that thing, you know, trial and error, practicing with it, getting used to it, and all the rest of it. As you say, it's like it hasn't replaced what I do, because I'll still do this and sand down and all the rest of it. But in other ways, it's revolutionised anything I do with a curve now.
Yeah, sometimes
I'll just hit it with a seam scraper first, you know.
Yeah, what I'll tend to do, if I've put filler down, even on a flat surface, and it's quite, you know, high up, I'll just, the speed, I'll get a scraper out and then get it down to its, you know, down to it, so then you can start sanding.
Yeah.
So I think it's just easier getting it, the top, you know, majority of it off.
Yeah.
The scraper, and then finish where you get in there with your sander.
Yeah, definitely.
It's nice to see you working on your kit.
Well, yeah, I thought I'd give it a whirl. Hold on, I'll do a bit to it. Take care of these bloody awful seams that I had to just chuck it full of filler. And that's the other thing, like we said, sometimes, you know, as much test fitting and dry fitting as you want to do, but just fill it up and then come back in and replace the details afterwards is often quicker than messing around. Alright. So like we said with all the sanding, it's all collateral damage. because we've got scratches and everything down on here. We've got marks in the roof and the various points and everything else. So we're just going to sand it, and then we'll go around and sharpen it all up and take care of it all afterwards. So let's get in here with that skinny sponge. Because also with sanding, a lot of people say about, you know, various different things you can use and all the rest of it. At the end of the day, the coarsest thing you hit it with to get it all flush and flat does all the work. Your sanders after that are literally getting rid of all the damage you've made. They're going to get rid of all your scratch marks and everything else like that, you know. I think that's alright. Then by the time we get in there, we'll re-rivet and redo and re-everything. It should be alright, honest.
Ow.
We should have thought about these kits before we said we'd do them. Can we do a Bandai one next time? That'd be so nice and easy.
Well, it's your turn to choose, but we'll have to do something a bit interesting.
A bit easy. A straightforward, nice build. That'd be nice.
Well, it's something that, like we say, that you want to build that you wouldn't normally get a chance. And I enjoy building anything that's a bit different. Sure, we could find something really interesting, you know.
Like?
I don't know, have a look in your stash and see what you really want to...
Oh. I have options? Crikey. Well, things I wouldn't normally do. I don't know, actually. I like to do that Huey. Just purely because I want to build a Huey.
Well, yeah, and I got rid of mine.
Oh, right.
But to be... It would be nice because I'll get something and you incorporate a lot of the live resin weapons on it.
Yeah.
Where the gunner stations, some of their stuff's incredible. Don't know if they do out for the Huey.
Yeah.
We do for the Chinook and the is it the Black Hawk?
Yeah. Well, I've got the DAP upstairs, the UH60 upstairs, but again, it's, I don't know, it might be a little bit too big for doing this. A little bit too much heat. So when you're sanding as well, like I'm doing here, and hitting this thing with everything I've got, just remember, guys, that heat can work against you as well, because I'm starting to soften the plastic where I'm sanding it too heavy. And when that starts to happen, what can happen is it can get little pockets forming in it and stuff like that, and that's what's happening there. So sometimes it's best to back off, otherwise the plastic will start rolling up on itself. Okay, so yeah, the roofers reckon they'll all be finished by Wednesday. So we'll be back to normal Wednesday. They thought originally it was going to be a week's work, but because of the weather and that, it's put them back a few days, bless them.
It's a massive upheaval, really.
Oh,
even though they're not in the house, it's just...
Well, they're in the loft.
Yeah, it's all the banging and...
Yeah, it is. There's a lot of, you know, you say a lot of people, I don't know if you know, but we've got, as they said, technically we've got a roof and a half. It's a house and a half, they reckon, because of the size of it with the extension on the house.
Yeah.
You know, it sort of took them by surprise, and they're bloody doing it. So, but the thing is, like, because it was built in 1920, it's the old-fashioned tiles, and they just turn to dust when you hit them, and they break. You know, so it's a case of right, okay, put these newfangled ones on though. They're absolutely fantastic. Always breathable membrane and all this stuff up there. But the loft is now full of rubble. Literally, I've got to go up there as my next job and clear all that crap out.
I'd have thought they'd have cleared it for you.
No, not inside the house. That's your job.
Rubble inside.
Yeah, because the tiles are literally just breaking.
From before. It's not what they've just generated.
No, it's not them. No. It's,
right, that's all right.
It's the tiles. You know, as they're breaking them, as they're taking off, there's bits falling in there, and so I've got to get up there and do it. So, mind you, they are good because we had found a bird's nest up there. So they took it very carefully and they brought it down and they went and put it in the hedge. Bless them. With a cat promptly. No, he didn't.
Cat found it and is nice. Yeah.
Yeah, it's it.
Ooh.
Anyway, Dave says, P.S. Happy haircut, Steve.
Yeah. Yeah, time I had to get rid of it all. It were,
Well, this is it. I must admit, I'm due for a haircut because I need it to slightly grow back before I go on holiday. Otherwise, I look like a criminal.
Yeah. But the old, I think I need some new clippers now. They're not working properly.
That's right. Pulling rather than cutting, are they?
No, the blade slipping quite a lot. And it's all tightened, and then, yeah, just. I've had it for quite a while, so I might just get another one.
Oh, right.
But to be honest, they're not that much, are they? Really?
No, not these days. Yeah, very cheap. Right. So where's me doors gone? This week's question: where's his doors?
I can't believe you don't keep it all together.
I do normally.
Well, you can't, because you've lost your bloody doors.
It's alright, they might be still on the sprue. I haven't taken them off the sprue yet. Did I? I don't know. Alright, we need that in a minute. That's the tailplane. No, it's alright. I think they're still on the sprue. That would explain that mystery. Mind you, I have thought, I was hoovering off the desk after I did the blaster, and I'm sure something went up the hoover. I heard it. The thing is though, so I emptied out the hoover and I've been through it, but because there's so many bits of everything in there, I haven't noticed anything missing. So in my sort of, precautions of you wait, I've emptied the hoover bin bag into a bin bag and kept it. So that way, with the bit where I suddenly, where the hell is it?
Yeah.
I'll be going, right, I know it'll be in the bin bag. Right, okay, so where are we?
Whoa.
Right, that's that bit, that's that bit, that's this bit. Okay, so the doors, yes. It's alright, they were still on the sprue.
Oh, that's okay.
We're okay. Right, so next question. Ian, hiya lads from Montreal. Been waiting for this live show. Hey look, we're on your own time zone this week, Ian. You don't have to get up at some ungodly hour before going to bed. I've got everything set up so I can watch and build along from my bench. If I think of anything, I'll post up a question. Thank you, Ian. Okay, oh god, right, let me just sand this bit off. Mind you, this thing's covered with eject pins on the inside. It's a good job we are buttoning it up. Right, okay, so Gary says, hi Phil and Steve, glad you guys are having a good day and enjoying the Saturday show. I'm sure I have mentioned this before, so do forgive me, but do you remember where you purchased your scissors? I've been having a look for them, and we'd like to order a pair like yours. I've gone through Side Cutter, but have not found any that really get into the photo etch to give a clean cut on the metal. Thank you, I'm really enjoying the site and the show. Gary from Kentucky. Hey look, all the Americans are with us. Okay, my scissors, these little guys, they're made by a company called Friskus. So it's Fiskar something or other.
ARS, isn't it? Fiskus,
ARS, yeah. And they're Finnish. They're made in Finland. Mine are the little tiny ones. They do them in all different sizes. You normally get them in haberdasheries or craft shops that do threads, because that's what it is. But they are literally as hard as nails. So as I say, these scissors are, well, they're 20 odd years old now, and I'm still cutting everything with them.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous, really, how well
photo
they cut.
etch, your favourite word from the past, decoupage scissors is what you need.
Yeah, decoupage.
Decoupage, yeah.
Is it decoupage or decoupage?
I don't know. It depends where you're from.
Oh, right. If you're posh.
Yeah.
Crikey, that fits very well, that side door, without the engine in.
Well, if you glue the engine parts to the door,
right,
it works. Now, I have to sound quite a bit. I think there's only a little bit of adjustment. But what I did, I put the door, now if you put the door on, then you should be able to glue.
Right.
In fact, I don't even think I put the old part of the engine, all that bit in. If you do it that way, and then you can glue the exhaust.
That works really, really well like that, but is that how it is? Does it sit like that, Steve?
Yeah, it sits
Oh,
like,
like that?
yeah, like that. You should be able to see. I don't know how well you can. It's getting the angle into
You got
it.
that little ring on the side of it.
Yeah, you should be able to see the little pipes below it.
Right, yeah, I got all that. Right, I'm going to glue it, stuff it, we're going in.
Yeah, I don't even know. Yeah, mine are roughly right. Yeah, but yeah, you should be able to see the pipe below it.
Right, okay.
But what I did is, yeah, I just glued it straight to the door, the engine cover,
Right, okay.
and I did the same at the front, and then you get that nice.
Because this actually is a
detail.
really, really good fit, I have to say.
Yeah, but there's no way you do it the way they suggest. It just
No.
wouldn't go.
No.
And it does. It fits. Once you get it all done, it fits together nice at the top.
Yeah, I'm actually amazed how well that fits. That is a beautiful fit. Probably the best fit on the kit today.
Yeah. Now I think you need. Let's have a look. Yeah, the engine bit. You can see a little lip on the engine that should be right up against the cover. But yeah, that looks about right. Yeah, that's it. Just move that in. You can see that little edge, and
Yeah. Give it a nudge and a...
there's a little gap there.
There we go.
So
Happy days. Right. Let's try the other one without removing half the engine. See what happens.
for speed, I use super glue.
See, that won't go in with the engine on there. So what we're going to do... no one watch. Ha!
That's what I did. Just cut it all up and broke it up, and
Oh, it fits so nice without it.
I need a.
And it does, it fits beautifully without it. So that's it. Sold.
I need to get another bottle of super glue.
Yeah, don't buy big bottles anymore. You need the little ones these days. They work so much better. I've given up buying the big ones because, quite frankly, they just go off.
Well, one's turned really thick, but like I said, my favourite at the moment is Rocket Rapid.
Yeah, I have
So-
to get some of that.
Absolutely loving it, and it dries beautifully clear as well. Really clear. This is where it's probably.
So stick your fit and get it in wet glue. Never a good one. Okay.
It's too much.
Right, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to re-glue everywhere where I just was scraping the hell out of it, and then that way it'll melt the small scratches and blend everything in. So you just go over it and it will melt it all, and it just makes it all nice and saves you having to polish it. All around there.
And the only thing I've got really to do is a bit of rescribing and put some rivets back in. But
Yeah.
that's not too.
Yeah.
But again, for the loss of a couple of little details, it's better filling your scenes than keeping a tiny little circle that nobody will ever see.
No, it's it. Yeah, we're happy with that. It's actually looking like a dolphin now. Well, helicopter that is, not a dolphin. I'm just paranoid with all the filler dust going inside it. You're going to unmask it. It's going to be like horrendous in there.
Well, that's why from the roof, and you can just below it try and get it.
Yeah.
You might just have to nip to your local dentist and say, "Can I borrow your little mouth vacuum?" and just
Hoover it out.
yeah. Surprised you can't get something like that, you know.
I bet you can.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, got to be
You're
able
at
to-
home, yeah, your own little vacuum cleaner.
Little vacuum chamber, yeah. Hook 'em
Don't
up
even
to
use a
that.
big vacuum cleaner in me.
Yeah, half your model goes up there. I don't know if anyone saw it, but there's almost an outtake when I'm building the blaster. If you notice carefully, when I'm doing the drilling out the holes for the nozzle, there was a load of resin dust up the end of it inside on the actual barrel. So I put it towards the hoover, and the hoover, the suction's pretty good on that thing. So it literally grabbed it and chucked it, but luckily it doesn't fit up the actual thing. It's just wide enough to wedge in the end. So I actually stuck my hand in down the nozzle and pulled it out. But it almost went straight up the hoover. I just imagine it going dum, 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 all the way down into it. But it actually stopped. But you can actually see me pull it out on that casual. In the video, I'm there like, yeah, and there we go, and there's the holes in there as I'm pulling it out the end of the hoover. But yeah, it would have made a good outtake.
Yeah, but so when the reinforcers, you had to do vacuuming, everything went up there. If it fit up the nozzle, you'd hoover it up.
Yeah, that's it.
You know, go to the ashtray, suck it all.
I must admit, I had a valeting company for a few years, and it used to be the thing. We used to have these huge, big industrial hoovers, and what you used to do was, at the end of the day, is empty out the hoover and then go through the contents.
All
Because all
right.
the money would go up there. You see, you'd hear it go up, and you got quite good at knowing what went up the hoover. So you'd know by the sound of it as it's travelling up there what it was worth. So that's a 10p, that's a 50p, oh that's definitely a quid, and all the rest of it.
Well, there's companies in there that specialise in gold retrieval. They go to jewelers' workshops, and they'll go hoovering all the floors and the vents and all that just to recover excess gold. Yeah, little particles of gold.
Wonder how much filler dust they could retrieve from it.
Oh, I know. It just goes everywhere, though, doesn't it?
Yeah. The worst thing is when you're spraying acrylic, I find metallics, the flecks of it go airborne more than anything else.
Yeah.
And before you know it, everything has got like that slightly silver look to it.
I think white's quite bad as well for spraying.
Okay, so how do these, the tail planes?
Oh, right, yeah. If you look on the side,
Yeah.
you see there's a kind of the largest bolt right in the middle is that bolt, and then a kind of a pointy arrow bit. You need to line the arrow bit. If you get that horizontal with the plane, and then it sits nicely.
Right.
That's how I line mine up anyway. And then when you put it on your bench, you should notice that the tail. In fact, that's the easiest way. Just put it on your. Put some under. Just push down on your bench, and they should sit nicely.
Ah, right.
That's how I did mine anyway. Just get that little arrow thing.
As I say, it's a bit vague, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
Just one little tiny speck on it.
Well, I don't even know if we've got the main, the tail, the horizontal, vertical part correct.
Correct, yeah, because it sits at a funny angle. The only thing was, I was looking at one of the air ambulances, and obviously that's the same helicopter, and it sort of kinks across. It's a bit weird how it goes.
Yeah, yeah. Right, so where am I now?
Right, which one are we on?
That's that waiting thing I need sanding. K11. I'm just
go on.
I'm just sticking these armour plates on the extra.
Oh right, yeah, I've already had them on. That's all right, mine are on. Okay, so Roland says, "Hi Phil and Steve. I just want to express my appreciation for this format and the effort you guys put in. I let it run whilst I model on the side. It's just like modelling with friends. It's great. Phil, I like your new style of doing the vlog. It makes it seem more personal. That's exactly what I wanted it to do, so that's good. Now for my question. I think it's been asked before, but do you have any plans for another ship build? Everyone keeps asking for ships. I can see a pattern forming here. I enjoyed the last one, and I think it would be nice to see something like a battleship or a passenger ship build. Keep up the good work, and thanks for creating a great community." Thank you, Roland. Yeah, it is that thing. Yeah.
I could lend you at Missouri for a couple of months and then you pass it
Oh,
back.
what? What? I just do a load to it.
Yeah, for a couple of months and then I'll carry on it. Just pass
Oh,
it
right.
round.
Okie dokie. I would say in the autumn, as I say, we've got, time is just flying. It's unbelievable. We're almost into July already. It's ridiculous. Only thing feels like last week we're doing the Star Wars stuff in December. Maybe in the autumn I could pick up a ship. I don't know about doing something huge though. To be honest, the 1 to 200 stuff is a little bit too big, purely because the amount of time it takes to do it, as Steve well knows.
I tell you what would be good, Phil. Have you seen those? The kind of the modern US fast attack destroyer type things, them catamaran.
The pyramid.
Yeah, they look quite, and the weathering that you could do on one of them, they could be quite interesting.
Yeah, I must admit, if I do, it's probably going to be something like that, rather than trying to tackle something like a big, huge battleship in 1 to 200, because the time and space required to do one of those is just going to be probably too much. Maybe if there was enough call for it, it could be a super build that we would do like we're doing the 190, where it's all little jobs, and that's how we would tackle doing a ship as well. So it would be over many, many months. But for a general sort of 1 month build, they are a little bit big. But maybe doing, say, something like that, could definitely be something we could have a go at. So definitely, yeah, never say never. We'll see how we go.
What about a submarine? You've thought submarine?
Do you know what? That's the thing. Because when you go into submarines, if I'm going to do a sub, I'd have to do one bigger than the standard scales. Because the normal one, they're about a foot long, and it's just like a tube, isn't it, with a conning tower, and it's like pretty boring. I would want to do something a bit more bigger and impressive. But it seems to be it's only the World War II stuff that's like that, and I'd like to do something like a big Typhoon class or something else like that, something you can get your teeth into and give it some nice details. But yeah, pretty easy. But it's just the weather in there on those, isn't it? Getting that all right. But yes, never say never to anything with me. You know what it's like, because I might suddenly get a bit of a thing and think, yeah, go on, we'll give that a whirl. And before you know it, we're doing it. Right, okay. Fred says, good morning, Phil and Steve, and greetings from the suburbs of Houston, Texas. Does he have a problem? No? Right, okay. A quick decal question. I'm decaling the 148 scale CF101 Voodoo, and I'm having issues with the long lightning flash that is seen on the Canadian aircraft from the 60s. The long skinny decals are prone to breaking as it slides off the backing. Is there any special techniques for handling decals like this? All of the other decals are going down without any problems. Thanks for all your content you provide. Just wanted to say that I'm exclusively an aircraft modeller. I enjoy other types of modelling you do, and feel free. You can always learn something. Besides, I may get enticed to do something else that I've never considered. Regards, Fred. Right, Fred. Two options for really long skinny ones. If, as you say, they're prone to breaking off the decal paper, I submerge them in warm water so they're a little bit softer. Okay, that way they've got a bit of stretch before they shatter. Okay, so if they're in slightly warmer water than normal, it should give you a little bit more playtime with it. Also, putting a softener, where mine is, I don't know where mine is, but if you've got your softener, micro softeners and soles, put that in your water that it sits in, because that will then soften the decal and it's less likely to break. The other thing is I wait until it physically lifts itself off the decal paper in the water. Then when it literally comes off, I will then slide it and the decal off together, let it run down. Okay, so it is literally just slippy as hell. Okay, so it's got no resistance whatsoever with the long stuff, and then it is just a case of loads of water onto your model, and then grip it at one end, and then just slowly and gently, and just slide it right the way through, drag it all the way off, or roll it up like wallpaper, and then pull it along with a brush, and just slide a brush underneath the decal and then work it along. But your secret is keeping it extremely wet. If it's wet, everything slides. As soon as it's dry and a little bit of friction, and that's your problem then. As soon as the friction part comes in, that's when you're going to get tearing, splitting and cracking. You're saying you're having no trouble with the other decals, it may be just the length of them. But with longer stuff, I tend to put it into slightly warmer water. That way it's just got a little bit more stretchiness to it, it's a softer, and by putting softener into your water as well can help. Steve?
Yeah, I always use warm water anyway on my little coffee mug.
Yeah.
Plate warm to keep my water warm. And I think the secret, like Phil says, is make sure you've got plenty of water on your model. So when you do slide the deck all off, it can carry on moving and sliding around so you don't rip it.
Yeah.
And then once you've got it in place, use a cotton bud or a bit of kitchen roll just to start taking the moisture away from it. But don't go straight in there really heavy-handed and rub it off. Just do it very gently. Really take your time doing it, and you should be okay.
Yeah. The thing is, deckling is just one of those things. All right, I'm doing one of those parts where you somewhat try and concentrate. It's probably not going to work, but hey ho. At least they're both level like that. Don't know, something like that, Steve?
Yeah, as long as that kind of, that bolt thing, that must have something to do with holding it in place.
Because it is pointing in the same direction, and they are 90 degrees square, so we'll go with that.
But the thing to locate it is the tiniest little...
Well, you've got tiny little pin, and that is it.
Yeah.
There's just nothing else there.
Just for the size of it, yeah.
You think it'd have two, and you just into it, or even a slot or something, but just to do nothing is a bit weird.
Yeah,
definitely. So yeah, that's the thing. Just keep everything really, really wet, really, really moving. Obviously, don't come near it with setters and everything until you're very happy that it's down and in place. But the other thing as well, when they do break, don't panic. That's the other thing as well. Many times it happens to me. You get the long ones. Like with the airline, it was a classic, wherever it is. We were doing the walkways. I had it shatter 3 bits. Right, okay, don't panic. Let's just get them all nice and wet, all moving around again, slide it into place, and then rolling out the water, getting it into there. Then we get the next one added on, and then the third one, keeping them all wet as you're working on the other parts as well. And that way you can then line them all up and you're good to go. So yeah.
Yeah, but especially, again, I'm going to say your black, really long black lines and stuff like that. Break it up into sections. Yeah. Because black does marry up really nicely.
Yeah.
Putting them together, it's your coloured ones you can't really.
Yeah, if you've got white when you overlap them and that, you get the dark spots. And
yeah.
That. But yeah, with the white ones, no problem at all with that. Okay, so David says, "Good afternoon, gents. Love the shows. Thanks for the thought and all your hard work you put into doing them. Can I be so bold to suggest Steve gets his own show segment called Armours Matter? There you go, Steve. You're live." Live to record, he could provide a wealth of info on armour subjects and tackle one or two frequently asked questions off the forum. Just a thought, I think it would be very popular. So there you go, you can have your own show.
Yeah.
I can have a day off. I could go somewhere and leave it to Steve.
Yeah, so in that case then, when I hopefully get to Phil's for the barbecue in July, I can pinch a couple of his cameras.
Right.
And then, I'll set myself up.
That's it, absolutely.
I think he'll be a bit annoyed when he notices they've gone, but...
Well, no, you're all right. See, that is the trouble. It's a lot of it isn't just like Steve having and doing his recording and that. It's all the equipment that goes with it. Because at the moment, Steve's off his webcam, which is great. But when you're doing something in here, it's not even the cameras, because like we're running 4 cameras today, 5 with the little one. It's actually the computer that's chewing this all together and streaming it out live as well, or even just as a recording. As I say, I haven't had it for a couple of minutes now, but I keep getting the thing saying high CPU usage, and you think that's a pretty pokey PC over there at the best of times. So that is the only trouble. It's just the equipment and the various bits and pieces for doing it. But
yeah, because ideally I'd need another
camera,
even one of these webcams looking down.
Down, yeah, definitely. Yes, I don't know. I'll think of something. Then I can have days off. I'm leaving you with Steve. Okay, right. Ben says, "Hi Phil and Steve, love the site. Starting the Hasbro Falcon. Oh look, he's got his T's turned up.
Yay!
Do you have a little button you press and it turns up?
No, I do actually. Um, on my coffee table, I've got this little bell, and it says
Oh right.
"Ring for a brew." So,
Okay, so Ben Swift says, "Hi Phil and Steve, love the site. Starting the Hasbro Falcon soon with the 3D upgrade parts. Do you think the plastic car primer would work on this? As I'm not sure about the plastic. Thanks." Yes, you'll be fine. That's how I would do it. This is the one we're all talking about. I prefer the plastic primer, which is this one, to normal car primer. I don't know if it is because it is plastic primer, but it seems to just go on a little bit lighter. It doesn't seem to be as floody as I found doing other ones, but this is what I use for doing the resin as well. But literally it's a can, and being this way you could decant it if you wanted to. Don't spray it near your filter because you'll bung up a filter in one using this stuff. But it is quite thick. But if you're doing something, you say like the Hasbro job with the upgrades, then yeah, put it all together, then give it a coat of this and you'll be good to go. No problem with that one at all. I put it this way, I've never found anything it doesn't like. I've never found anything it actually attacks and has given me a problem either. But then, to be honest, the normal car primer, I haven't found anything particularly that's given me a problem, apart from perhaps sometimes really shiny plastic. But again, that's probably me chucking it down too heavy. Okay, Matt says, sorry, it's Matt, yeah. Hi guys, thanks for spending your Saturday afternoon, evening with the North American guys. Phil, the Han Solo blaster is awesome. I'm looking to buy an F4 Phantom in 1/48 scale. What would be a good one to buy if you're on a limited budget? Thanks guys, Matt. To be honest, the Academy ones are very nice. Okay, there's no problem with those at all, and you can pick them up pretty much at good prices if you shop around for them. Occasionally they pop up. I know you're in the US, but in the UK, for instance, if you wanted the Good Evening Da Nang version, it was on sale at Creative the other day, really cheap. It was, I don't know, like 20 quid or something. So they do pop up in the sales and various bits and pieces. To be honest, the Hasegawa one, as old as it is, if you don't want it to have drop flaps and those things, actually out of the box I still maintain it is a beautiful kit, and it's one of those kits that is an afternoon as well. It's a doddle to go together. 2 wings sandwiched together, 2 fuselage halves, the underside goes up, then you can do all your little detaily bits. For an out of the box build they are absolutely fantastic, and it's what I did for commission work for 10 years. That's what I literally built, was Phantoms, doing those. But I've got 2 over there. I've got the F4B and I've got the F4J, the Academy kits, and they are great for an out-of-the-box build with no extras required really. If you wanted to, the colour photo etch set goes in those, but if you wanted to do the old Hasegawa ones, then again you can just put in there the colour photo etch set and you've got yourself a really nice looking Phantom, literally straight out of the box, with just putting the colour photo etch set in the cockpit. So yeah, that would be my recommendations for those ones. But say the Academy ones, they've got some very nice touches in those kits. They will look really, really nicely. Okay, so John says, "Hi Phil and Steve, great show, keep up the good work. Looks like I'm getting to grips with the site as a newbie. More Star Wars, more Star Wars, got all the Bandai kits. Keep me busy since my amputation on my leg. Hope Steve's Tornado's going well. All the best, John." John, you're a pirate. I can do those jokes because I know people like it.
yeah.
So bless. Yeah, as I say, the thing is, those Bandai kits, I know we keep going on about them, but they are just absolutely fantastic. They're brilliant. They go together so very, very well, and all the rest of it. And I hope you're recovering well and all the rest of it.
Yeah.
As Mel always says, you can do what you like, you just can't lose your hands. She says you can lose both your legs, I don't care, because you can carry on working because nobody sees my legs.
That's what I think. As long as I can use my hands and I've got my eyes,
that's it.
Everything else can
I'm
stop.
good to go. I don't even have to listen.
Yeah.
And I'm absolutely fine. So, but yes, that's it. So yeah, hope it all goes well, John, anyway. Nev says, and he's done big writing. Cheers, Nev. Phil and Steve, firstly, thanks for the new style vlogs. They're great, and the one-day builds is a good idea because we're able to see something different, as you mentioned. Phil, I've heard that the blue and green mini clamps are available again, but can't find them anywhere. Can you advise me on where I can get them, or have they all gone again and I've missed it? No, or yes, I'm not sure. I haven't spoken to Models R Go, but Models R Go co.uk, they're the people who got them in. Now, I did speak to John a few weeks ago, and he was saying they're getting another load in August, I do believe. So it may be that the first lot have all gone, but they are getting some more in August. You mean these guys here? So have a word with John or Mandy at Models R Go, and they'll be able to sort you out with that one. Steve, I'm looking to do a diorama of the engine being removed from a Meng Bradley M2A3 Busk 3. Can you recommend a crane or recovery type for that period that will do the job?
Oof, for that, American ones. Just thinking what's available, that's the problem. Something like they could have used the M88.
Mm-hmm.
And I know you can get AFV could do a quite up-to-date one. That's a big recovery vehicle, so they could have used one of them. But no, I'd have to have a look at that off the top of my head.
Yeah, to be honest, that's why he's asking you. I wouldn't have a clue what the thing is at the moment for doing them.
Yeah, if it had been British, it could have, helped. Ford and recovery truck would have been a good one for back then. But yeah, they do the is it the M88A3 or something?
Mm-hmm.
That'll be AFV could do, and I know you can get some various aftermarket resin sets to bring it a bit more up to date. But I can see that being used, one of it, because they use them recovery ones. In fact, the famous when they used it, they brought down that in
the Saddam
statue.
Hussein, statue.
That huge
they yanked
statue.
it down with him.
Yeah, with the big crane. And I see they
that,
could use, probably with it being a recovery vehicle, if we were out in the sticks, could have used that. But off the top of my head, that's the only one I could think of. I'd have to look through all my reference material, because I think they use that. Is it the Hemmet? I think they've got a recovery vehicle version of one of them.
Did you have a look at that link that I put on? I did drop it on the bottom of the videos as well for that site on YouTube. It's called the Daily Military Video, or whatever it's called.
Oh,
they have some great stuff on that. They had one the other day, and it was tanking a pair of F-18 Hornets from the back of a Herc.
All right.
And it's all raw footage. There's not, it's not like a documentary. It's literally a guy with a camera hanging out the back of a Herc as you've got F-18s refueling off the wings, off the baskets, and then coming round behind. But it's all completely raw. There's none of this cinematic or music. It's raw footage. But the other day they had a live fire exercise, and it was using everything the Marine Corps had. So it had Abrams, and there's Bradleys, and there's all this, mine clearing stuff. They had that one you're doing with it fires the rockets out the top, and then blows up a minefield and takes all the wire with it.
Yeah,
it was doing that. Then they had Cobras coming in overhead and all the rest of it. They're using everything at disposal, artillery, but it's all completely warts and all. But the beautiful thing about it is in the most clearest video you can see on the net. It's uber sharp. It's really nice. He also says, Phil, very sorry for getting you covered in True Metal the other week. Mine is wrapped up and put away as well. Yeah, horrible stuff. I must have a word with them actually, because funny enough, they did send me a message, which I don't know if I can talk about, but mainly it was, they said to me, we've been advised to contact you over one of my videos, and that's all I'm going to say. And it's like, oh god, here we go. So yes, they weren't exactly happy with one of my videos apparently. So I got to imagine it was about using the Gunsy stuff. But it wasn't the review. That's the weird thing. It was me talking about it. So I don't know if they've actually gone and seen the review for their Shine Enhancer. It was one of my daily vlogs. I mentioned that there's a few problems with it and I wanted to test it on. If you remember, well, I will say it then. When I used it thick coat and I put it down over the actual, as like a gloss finish for doing decaling, I said it was patchy as hell when it dried. Well, they weren't happy with me having a go at their product. So, yes. Anyway.
Yeah, I'm just having a look on Google. But yeah, the M88A2, we could have used that. It depends if it's out in the field, they'd probably use one of them, depending on when you're looking at it. That's a good one. And then a lot of the other stuff, like I said, the Hemi is a version recovery vehicle of that. And yeah, if you have a look on there, there's actually some amazing gear. Some of the new stuff, I'd love. It'd be brilliant if they brought out. What's that one? That looks like one of these mine-resistant, armour-protected recovery vehicles. So there's some really cool stuff out there. The Max Pro armoured recovery vehicle. That looks well cool.
See, look, now you're going to be building all of these next.
I hope they bring it out, actually. It's one of the Max Pro, which is one of the MRAPs. So you've got the front, so cabin off, and then up back they've got the recovery trailer, recovery parts. That looks really good.
Cool. Okay, so hold on, we got this post again. Hi Phil, love the site. Hasbro Falcon 3D parts car primer. Would it work? Yeah, we've already answered that, haven't we? All over the place. Okay, so Brett asks, "Hi guys, have I missed some?" That's why I'm worried now, because I might have missed something. Where have I done? John Bennett, hi Phil and Steve, good work. Looks like we're getting to grips with the new site. A bit more of the Star Wars. Oh, that's right, amputee leg. Okay. That's plastic. Where's Beth? Yeah, no, we must be alright then. Okay, sorry. Okay, so Brant asks, "Hi guys, first off, it's great. This is a great forum, loads of information and things to see and learn. I really like how many videos and tutorials there are. Great stuff. We're getting near my thing. My goal is always to get to 1,500 videos. This will actually be the 1,576th video we've done. And when you reckon we put out around about 10 a week, we've only got 2 more weeks and we'll reach my goal. So if we can do that before I go away, I will be a happy chap." So I've always thought getting to 1,500 must take years to get to, and we're almost there. Okay, so anyway, I'm in the later part of construction of the Tamiya F4U D1, getting ready to think about paint. I have aftermarket decals and plan to do the 3-tone naval scheme. What is the best way to do the belly white to look more worn, since it's bleaching using the usual lightening of the base colour? Not having all the paint manufacturers available in the US, do you recommend the Tamiya brand paints? What colours would you suggest for the 3-tone scheme? What is the best and easiest metallizer paint for someone who has never done new metal finishes before? Planning on doing my first new metal finish after the Corsair. Right, okay, so for doing the white underneath, what I would recommend doing it is doing it in an off-white. Okay, so add a little bit of buff or something to it, and that will make it sort of more of a creamy white or a dirty white, and then bleach it with white. Okay, and that will give you that sort of contrast underneath. But to be honest, when I'm working with whites, the way I do it is I'll go in with washes. I know Steve will probably use oils and various things like that, but for me, dark dirt wash right over a flat coat, so the white is down, it has a flat coat onto it, but then so will the rest of your model anyway, and then I will wash it with a dark dirt colour, possibly then grime afterwards just to give it tonal change and various things over it. Then you can come in with oils and streaking and dirt, but that's how I wear the white. So if you look at the stuff I've done with any of my bigger models, so like the Intruder for instance, the Phantom, what else we've done that's got white on it, and other kits that have got white on, you'll notice that it just grinds it back. It never looks like white after the wash has been near it, and you can knock it back like that. Steve, how would you do white?
Yeah, I'd do the same, to be honest. I'd start by doing an off-white, or you could even start doing your normal white, spray it, then do all your weathering to the white, and then just to finish off, go back with a bit more white that's been heavily thinned, and then just put a little dab here and there. Spray a little bit on here and there, not too much, but just a bit just to soften it and give it that bleach look.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just to knock it all back. What you're trying to do is basically just break up that block colour, and you can do that one. Okay, paint manufacturers recommending Tamiya paint. I don't know if Tamiya do the three-tone blue though, do they? I know they were thinking about bringing it out. There was a rumour going around they were going to bring it out, but they've got colours that are extremely close to it anyway. Because isn't it like royal blue? Is there dark blue, and then there's I don't know if it's like medium blue XF18 or something. I know they've got colours like it. I can't remember exactly what they are off the top of my head for that one.
I think XF18 is good.
Yeah.
The dark blue, yeah. You could use X3, couldn't you?
Yeah, I think that's what they call out for it, is X3.
Yeah. Yeah, that's probably about right, actually.
Yeah, I've got the kit down there. I think they call out TS colours for it. But the kit itself will probably have the Tamiya colours for it. If you didn't want to go down that route, everybody seems to have brought out that colour thing. You can buy it as a pack, I think, with Vallejo do it. AK, I think, do the colours for it. Guns definitely will.
Yeah.
They've got their one. So it really does depend on which way you want to do it. Model Air do it. So yeah, it just depends on whose paint you want to go down. To be honest, they're all as good as each other these days. There's not a lot in it as in the actual paint quality and the actual colour things of them. Tamiya paints are really good, very forgiving, and work every time. There's never a problem with Tamiya. Obviously, if you're going to go down Model Air routes and things like that, then you've got other things. But the gun stuff as well, you'll get that readily available in the US. That's pretty good paint as well. They do all the colours for that, no problem. I don't know off the top of my head. I don't know where my conversion chart is either.
I've got their colour chart here.
Right, and the
US, well, 54 could be the top colour.
Right.
54.
Yeah.
That's US navy blue.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, they got some.
Yeah.
Very, as I say, actually, I know where it is.
Yeah. Where's me?
World War II, Russian early, USA.
Oh, that's not good.
Interiors, France, Japan, Italy.
I've got that many paint charts.
Yeah, I am just as bad.
Right, it's the old modern AFB, World War II, modern AFB, World War II aircraft. Here we go. USA, World War II. But none of the naval.
So they got the naval variants down there. UK Azores. Yeah, well, I've stuck mine down. It's probably written on the other side of that.
Yeah.
Hold on, let me check the.
I will have done it before. I've done one before, and I used Tamiya, I think.
Yeah.
That's
just the third. Right, okay. Is that pre-war? Pre-World War II, modern, European, SAC. Okay. Zinc. Okay, so the standard insignia white, right, so we don't need that. And then we've got neutral blue. They are calling out for top wing surface aircraft after 1942. Semi-gloss blue. Top wing two-tone is 25042, Federal Standard colour. Topside aircraft, Federal Standard 35042, which is in everybody's colours but what I've got down here. Neutral sea blue, looks like gunship grey to me. Lower surface of the aircraft, Japanese campaign, aircraft overall. Yeah, I would check to see what Tamiya's calling out for him, because actually I don't think they're that far out, because they have been doing that one for quite a while.
It could also be worth, if you do a search on the forum, see if anyone else
If someone's
built
done it, yeah.
and see what they used and see if you like the colours they use.
Okay, so last part of the question was, what is the best and easiest metallizer paint for someone who's never done it before? I'm planning on doing a natural metal finish Corsair. After the Corsair. Again, this is the thing. If you want a really nice one to go down, the AK Extreme Metals, to be honest, I think are the easiest ones to use. They just work really, really well with no problem at all. But obviously there's Alclads out there, there's everything. And some people tend to prefer the Alclad route. Other people, I know, decant stuff. I know other people who, love the acrylic version. Actually, just for usage, of ease of use, I do like the AK Extreme Metals. Purely because they just go down really, really easy. But just don't be fooled into them when you first put them down, because they don't technically look very nice. Let them dry, and then they tend to come back with real luster. Okay, so once they've dried out completely, they're good. As we know, they're hard as nails. You can mask over them, you can do what you like to them, weather over the top, and they're no problem at all. Readily available as well. So yeah, I would give something like that a go and do it that way. Okay, so Andy, our very own Andy Molyneux. Hi guys, great show as usual. Had to work today, but I went in at 5 AM so I could come home in time for the show. But I'm now struggling to stay awake. Anyway, quick question. Which Flory pigment is the best colour for grime wash? I've just airbrushed some grime onto my Meng Guns Tiger, and I want to use a pigment. I want to use a pigment mix and use the Adam method of weathering. Would medium earth be the best pigment? Yes. To be honest, the medium earth is dark dirt, so it works really well with the grime. Okay, so you can do that one. Also, Steve, I'll be around in a few weeks' time to relieve you of some of your kits from your stash, if Matt hasn't skint me first.
Yeah, that sounds like very good. And thanks for putting my chair up. I'm sat on the one that you assembled for me.
Oh, is that what it is? He's the,
the recliner.
Assembler. Oh, right. No, he's the one who read the instructions then.
Yeah, it does actually. It's quite nice reclined.
Right, okay, where are we? It's the only thing, you have to refresh and then you come back down here. Okay, Ricky says, hi Phil and Steve, these pictures I recently took at a show with to show this may help with some tracks, which is a very good picture. Hold on, but I've got to go and get it. Let me just, because we're on the wrong screen.
Yeah.
Hey, do you know what? I was watching a thing the other day on YouTube, like you do when you get carried away, and it was a guy who's got 50-inch TVs and using them as monitors. Right? So
that's a bit over the top, really.
Yeah, but he's got 3 of them, but apparently they're Ultra HD, so they're 4K screens, and he reckons they're brilliant. And I'm thinking I could do with that, because that way I could see what I'm doing at this point.
Yeah. And I have one as well. We'll put it on an expense account.
Oh, all right then. Yeah. So that's what we need, is a couple of them, and we'll be fine. So anyway, this is what he's talking about with the tracks. Great images, and this is what we were saying, Steve, because he's got the rusty bit on the outside. Look.
Yeah.
You see this? Yeah. And then obviously we've got the darker in the inside, where the pads are. So you've got almost like a 4-tone effect there, haven't you? You've got the real sort of metal inside for the guides, and then you've got the blackness for the rubber pads, and then that sort of sandy, which I presume is where it's been painted, isn't it, Steve? The actual sandy colour? It's where the tracks are probably painted, with the rust on the outside.
Yeah, I'm having a look at,
And then he's got a nice shot of that, the next one down, which is... Oh, sorry. Doing the wrong photo.
Yeah, there's some good pictures there, isn't there?
So there's some beautiful photos there for reference, guys. So, yeah.
It's that rustiness, because even when they're out in the desert at night, it's surprising how quick stuff goes rusty by all accounts.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you it's getting that rusty background for the track,
Mm.
and then where the rubber bits are, you can dry brush that on.
Yeah.
And if you've got all your weathering, your sand colours, your dust on the sides of the track pads anyway,
Yeah.
you don't need to be that overly neat. You can use the weathering
Mm-hmm.
to kind of blend it all together. And then
Yeah.
just over raised areas that will come in contact with the ground. Like I said, just a nice little bit of metallic colour over the top.
Mm.
It doesn't have to be too shiny. Just put it on, and then you can put matte varnish over the top, and that'll give you more, like you can see in the second picture down. So you can see the metal areas
Yeah.
next to the rust, but obviously they're not too shiny. So you can, if you put matte varnish over your metallic, that's the kind of effect you'll get. And then on top of the matte varnish, you can then put where it's a bit more, where it's freshly done. But I use a product. Where is it? I don't know. I can't see it. Where's that? What I like to use on my tracks. Oh, it's not that one. Is a pigment called steel, dark steel pigment, and you can just rub that on with your finger to give you that nice metallic look on raised edges.
Yeah, definitely. But it's good reference photos. Those lovely and clear.
But I like the numbers as well on the mud flap.
Yeah.
That's quite a nice, neat little touch. Little stuff like that just add another dimension to your model, so that could be worth remembering, putting something like that on.
So we reckon FL front left, because it's A something something and then FL. So I reckon that says front left.
Cool.
Definitely. Right. Okay. So Ralph is on. Oh, I've got to show you this. Right. Hold on. How are we going to show you this? We need to go like that, and then we need to go like that.
Oh yeah, it's Flory girl. Hey, that's me and all. Hey, not a fan.
Right.
Is that me getting me cup of tea anyway?
It is actually. I don't know. Yeah, I think you were. You were leaning back just to get your cuppa.
Yeah.
Flo drinking her morning coffee, watching her first USA Saturday Live with Phil and Steve. She says she's missed Phil and Mel and sends her love. Bless. Thank you, Ralph. She's doing absolutely fantastic. I've been following you on Facebook as well with her. So she's been doing absolutely fantastic. Bless. So remember, if you do want Flo to come and visit you, get your name down. And she can come and stay with you as well.
Right. Can you just have a look at your instructions?
Yeah.
Stage 16.
Hold on. Stage 16. Right, because I can show them everyone at the same time, see if they can all work it out as well. Hold on, close count. Stage 16.
It's getting K18 properly located.
K18. Which one's K18?
It's a long kind of step thing.
Oh, right, this one here. Yeah, got it.
Yeah.
It goes above the door, yeah?
Yeah, but how far across have we got to put it? It don't go fully over the door, does it? Or does it? Must do.
Yeah, I think it is, isn't it? It's the
then,
the top of the runner, which would be the runner for the door.
Yeah, that's the point, yeah.
Well, that's what I would assume.
Ah, that's it.
Just the top runner for the door, and then obviously K22 as well.
So, would you put it... You see, that's why they should kind of put... Oh, what's that? I just knocked off that bloody photo wedge.
Oh, you've put that bit of photo edge on, have you? Oh,
yeah,
I see.
But it hasn't stuck down. I'll have to read.
Let's see. Where's
I'll
K?
use me.
Hold on. Where's K? K.
Hang on.
Sprue K. What does Sprue K look like? Oh yeah, I got it.
There it is.
Right, okay, let's get these bits on.
Just put this photo etch back on, wherever I've put it. Oh, it's there.
I must point out I was up at 5 as well this morning. I blame Mel going to work so early.
Use some of this glue. I just want to just pop it on.
Right, okay.
Just do this before I put that runner on.
Okay, Roland came back and he said, "Hi Phil, thanks for your answer about the ship build. There's some nice stuff in 1 to 350 and 1 to 700. Doesn't have to be 1 to 200. It wouldn't have been 1 to 200 anyway. I've literally got nowhere to put that type of size of kit. We really would have run out of room extremely rapidly. Although Steve did send me that link, which I had seen before, is the Tamiya office, isn't it? For that man cave you said to me?
Oh yeah, that is amazing.
That's Tamiya, that is.
That is one you just love an office that. I reckon we could pull it off, you know, if you send Mel away on holiday.
Oh right, and so we just knock through into the lounge while she's not
if we
here.
get all UK members down,
Right.
you're kind of a changing rooms.
Okay.
Come, you know, the big build thing.
Yeah.
Get Nick Knowles and his mates in.
Oh right, okay.
We could just go for it, and then, as it'll already be done, you know.
So when she comes home and kills me...
Well, we'll put her up a nice little living room where you... Instead of kitchen table.
Oh right, okay. I still don't think she's going to be sold on this
Well,
one when
she
she
will,
gets
but
home.
it'll be done. So she's...
Oh right, it'll be too late.
Yeah.
I'll be living in the shed. Well, I've got 18 on. I don't know about the rest of them, but 18's on. So what else do we want? 24 and 18. 24. Is it C? No, L. I'm looking at the wrong sprue even.
That's a lot better than that other.
24. Right, check. Got 24.
I found PVA glue for photo etch. I use it's a concentrated wood glue, PVA glue, and it's so much better than
normal.
Yeah.
The only thing I must admit, that card glue I've been using, I did the photo etch this morning. I filmed that for the site for the FW190. The great thing about it is it dries really, really quick. I mean, stupidly quick. Because I was thinking, you know, you do the usual thing, and it's like 1, 2, miss a few, and it's done, dried, and there's not a mark of it, and you think, right. And to be honest, this is it here left over, and you see it dries completely clear, and it's pretty tough as well. Obviously, it's still rubbery because it's PVA, but it dries completely clear. So it is quite handy for doing that type of work. Yeah.
Do you apply it with a brush?
Yeah, I must admit I use a brush. Yeah.
Yeah, I use a really fine brush. And that way you can clean any excess glue off. And
yeah, because the thing is, because it's quite thin, it's got very nice sort of capillary action.
Yeah.
So it sort of flows where you want it anyway, so it's not too much of a problem.
But yeah, I've got a huge bottle of it. I'm glad there's a bit left, because last year's barbecue, Robert brought one of his kids this mask to stick hair on and stuff like that, and they've been doing that earlier in the day. Yeah. Anyway, we're all chatting, look round, and his young daughter's there just squeezing all this PVA glue out of a bottle, and I mean, it was absolutely everywhere. You know, I'm surprised there's any left, but it was so funny. The table, it was just covered in this glue. So how far across did you put it? Do you put
just
it
top the door, literally? Here's mine. Look, I did it here.
It'll be across the...
So it goes literally from there to there.
You see, I've got the door. You're having the door open, aren't you?
Well, I don't know yet. I could keep doing this because I have to keep poking the window. Look.
Yeah, well, it's got to be. Yeah. Well, I'm going to put it there.
I have no choice. I have to keep poking the window open.
So it's got to close it up. Yeah. If I do it so it's just slightly onto there, I think it goes like that, because it's got to pop up, so it's got to be attached. Okay. There. Okay. Oh no, this is a nightmare. It's got to be. This is why I'm just talking to myself now, just to make sure I get it right.
See, look, you say about me humming and singing.
Yeah, I must sound alright enough. I bet we all modelers do, don't they?
Talking ourselves through it all. It's fine. It's going to be okay.
Actually, Phil, if you look on page 15 in stage 18, you can see it slightly goes, so it kind of overlaps onto the other.
Yeah, the other bit.
So there's a slight overlapping, so I'm going to put it there. If it ever stays in place, which you don't want to.
Right, okay. Okay, he says, I have a second question. I have your Dark Dirt wash I bought 2 years ago or so. It has gone like thick and gunky. I think I've put a brush in it with something on like it. I've tried to thin it with distilled water, which has helped a certain degree, but it seems to go back to a thicker consistency after a while. Have you got any magical ideas, or should I just bin it and buy another bottle? It's got just under half a bottle. I'm more careful with the brushes. To be honest, what happens is, because it is literally an acrylic and a water base, there is a bit in there of something that stops algae growing in it, and stuff like that. The thing is, some things on brushes, it all interacts with itself a little bit, and that's when it turns to like that gluey stuff. So unfortunately, it is just best to cut your losses with it and buy a new bottle, which I know sounds great from our point of view of flogging it, but honestly, it's probably your best bet to save messing around with it. And then next time, as I say, if you just decant first, you won't have a particular problem with it. But being a water-based product, it's obviously susceptible to being affected by outside influences, such as nasties on brushes. We found one of the key culprits for it is airbrush micro set and sol. Doesn't seem to like it for some reason. I don't know why. It makes it go thicker and goos up, because the pigments actually cling to it, and that's the trouble. So that's the trouble we have with it. But honestly, I would say, yeah, cut your losses with it. Just have a new bottle and just be a little bit careful with it.
I'll tell you what you could do though. Don't throw it. Use it if you do armour.
Yeah, chuck
use
it around.
it on your
Mud
stick it on there, mud it. Yeah.
Yeah. I was going to say,
Perfect.
don't bin it, but I would definitely recommend though decanting it. Just have a little bit out at a time, and it will last absolutely years. I've got bottles over there now I've had for donkey's years, and they just keep giving and giving and giving. And obviously, what I do, to be honest, is that when we got like half a bottle, when there's not enough to make a full bottle, I tip it into my other bottles here, and that's what ends up with it. So, have you put the top of the door on? So you know where it swings out technically for the hoist. Have you put yours on?
Oh, the top of the door. Yeah.
Ah, right, okay. I think I need to do that because I haven't done that.
But again, I think I mentioned it before. If you put a bit of plaster in it, bit of plaster of Paris, mix that in a separate little container, gives you that nice grittiness for if you put it on to armour, for mud splats and stuff like that. Which you can mix any of the washes and do it that way. It's really good effect.
Yeah. If you are thinking about buying anything from us, remember we are closing, because I've got to do it on the site. I might do it after we come off air actually. We're closing everything down whilst we're away with Snap, so we won't be doing anything from the 3rd, well probably less than that, it'll be the Friday I'll work till. So I think it's like the 2nd of July through to the 9th. So, because we're away from Snap, which luckily we're flying from my local airport, which is only 10 minutes down the road. What a bargain. We've flown out of Birmingham and all these places we have to travel around with.
Oh, that's good.
But this time, it's literally on our doorstep. Because normally when we leave Snap at Bridgewater, we've been up there at like a, by the time everyone else has got off the bus and that, we then have to drive an hour home. So this time, it's the other way round. We'll be home before everybody else. But
where is it you're going again?
Mallorca, I think. Mallorca or Mallorca, one or the other. One of them two.
Oh, you could get severely burnt at this time of year out there.
Yeah. I hope so. No, I won't. I'll be having beer. It's all inclusive.
Well, that's even worse because you get drinking, you forget you've got to put your sun cream on.
To be honest, I am a baby. If anyone knows me like that, you'll know that me and the sun don't get on very well because I suffer from a condition called Gilbers. Which means I'm like a lizard in the sun. I will literally shrivel up and die in minutes. So I'm not allowed in the sun. So, yeah, that puts pay to that one.
Yeah, I had a friend and he went all the way to Dominican Republic. And on first full day out in the sun, something affected his eyes, the sun, and he had to spend following 2 weeks in his hotel room.
Yeah.
Not that I didn't laugh, but that's the unfortunate.
Yeah, I must admit, I've been to the Dominican twice. Very nice. But it's a bit weird when you go off and out and about because the country is beautiful and they've got these amazing hotels and it's fantastic and all the rest of it. And then you see the rough bits and it's like some ghetto, shanty towns with like the locals driving around in pickups with guns and everything else like that. It's a bit surreal. And the bit they say to you, if you are leaving the resort, you can take one of our bodyguards with you for a fee. And he turns up with a shotgun. Literally, he's got a shotgun in his hand.
Nice.
It's like, oh, safe around here then, is it?
Yeah. Yeah, and to all our American friends, me and Phil are more than happy to come over for a visit if you want to put us up for a couple of weeks,
Yeah.
More than happy.
Yeah, well, we'll fit it in, squeeze it in a little bit. I'm going to have to paint the inside of that. I didn't think of that then. Didn't think of that, Flory. You've got ahead of myself there.
What? Oh, the inside of the door?
Because I've done the inside of the door, yeah.
I probably didn't. Well, to be honest, the interior greys kind of look similar.
Yeah, I'd say.
You'll get away.
I can get in up there anyway and do it, to be honest. I should be able to get up in there.
I totally forgot to put the, that air conditioning unit, that little...
Oh, well, the little nozzles up there and everything. Yeah. I've got mine. Mine's up in there.
I forgot mine.
Thing is, though, again, I thought I better put it in because it's going to be really noticeable without it. But it's not in the main cabin. It's right back. I don't know if you can see it in there, Steve. It's back in there. Right. So it's not in the main bit where you can see. It's right at the
to be honest,
back anyway.
What's got to draw people's eye is just the paint finish. They've not got to look
at
anything else.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, to be honest, where we're going, we should be able to
paint
start.
Next week.
Yeah, paint on it, get some primer or something.
Yeah, no, we'll all be buttoned up and ready to go next week. I reckon if we do a little bit of the touch-up work, polishing up, and a bit more rescribing and bits in there, we should be pretty good to go next week.
So what we're doing, get it primed before the next show, and
can do. Yeah, prime it up.
Get the orange. My God, people can see my hair brushing.
Yeah. And now I've got my Wonder Cam. Look, everyone. Look at.
I know I'll have to get. Well,
I'll be doing this. You see, next time I'll be in here in the spray booth doing it. Very clever.
Well, I can get my camera right round that. Okay, I won't be able to see what you're doing, but I can move my camera around.
Yeah.
And so people can see me spraying over that side. I need a new filter in the spray.
To send you some up, I can send you some of the my stuff up if you want.
Oh, that'd be nice, yeah.
But I tell you, I would send you the filters, but I've already pre-made mine. Look, I've got 2 ready to go.
I just need the material just to.
Yeah, that's all right. I'll send you some up.
I need to get that done and then. But yeah, I'll be able to set it up, my webcam above it, get the light on there.
Cool.
That'd be good.
Very good, definitely. Right, so have you put the thingy on yet? The hoist?
No, it's there. It needs a bit of sanding yet.
Oh, right, I better put that together then.
Yeah, I'm just putting some of these little bits on.
Have you? Yeah, I was going to say, have you put C4, C23, the aerials on? C2?
Yeah, I have, yeah.
Yeah.
I just want to give them, because obviously with it being... It's knowing my look, if we put it on after, and you slip with a bit of glue onto a gloss surface, you've got a chance that it might damage your paint.
Yeah.
That's what we've got to bear in mind. It's like all the little detail painting I'll do after it's all glossed. Because any paint you can just wipe off then. But, it's looking like a helicopter now.
It is. It's actually looking really nice, I must admit.
It's just a shame that some of the glazing's got to let it down. You know how it's slipped and some of the fit issues, but hopefully we'll get away with it.
I've got a mind to try, but it'll be sod's law it won't work. Is you remember when I did the Hawk and that, where when I put the lacquer on, right over the glasswork.
Yeah.
It'll be sod's law it will go frosty or something on me, because I keep saying it doesn't do it, but you wait, this time, guarantee it'll do
Well, I've done it with clear before, just brushed it off, where I forgot to put it over a canopy, and I've just brushed it on with a soft brush,
Yeah.
you have no problems. In fact, has that new stuff arrived you ordered?
No, not actually. That's a good point. Yeah, the new pledge. The
Yeah.
new clear. No, it hasn't. I'll have to chase that up because it did say it should have been here on Thursday, and it isn't here yet. So I'll have to chase that up. Actually, I paid way too much for it because somebody mentioned it on the forum, didn't they? And they said it was like, I don't know, whatever it was, £5. I paid 13 with postage, but it was just to get it here quick. I could probably drive down the road and go and get it, but hey ho.
It all depends. Yeah, you need to have a look in the supermarket, but
The thing is, but like clear, what I did before it even was known it was going to be stopping the original one, I happened to be in, I think I've got a feeling, it was either Asda or one of the supermarket type things, the Walmarty things, and it happened to be on offer. And I was like, oh, go on then. So I bought 7 bottles of it because it was dirt cheap.
yeah.
And they only had 7 left, so I thought, oh, go on then. But it was ridiculously cheap. It was like £1.50 or something a bottle. So I'll get to the checkout, bearing in mind I've got like lager and 7 bottles of clear in me thing, and that's it, and some M&Ms. And she sort of looked at me, and I said, that's all right, I've got a big floor.
Yeah.
I wasn't even going to say I'm a modeller, and I use it for me modelling and all the rest of it, because that ain't just going to work, is it? So, yeah,
I must admit, I've got a few bottles of clear. I think I've still got a brand new bottle of the original.
Yeah.
But I think you see, that went for silly money, didn't it?
Oh, again, yeah, it was ridiculous.
What a load of
25
idiots.
quid on eBay it was going for at one point. It was like,
Yeah.
really? You know, it's almost like just taking people for mugs. And
Well,
they
it
were
was same
flogging
with
it as glazing, legendary clear, this, that and the other, you know, and it was like, you know, really?
well, they did that with Tamiya glue and thinners, didn't they, when they were a shortage in UK?
Yeah. Yeah, I must admit, you get these people and they'll just try it on every time. Right, where's this little guy go then? He goes right behind the other one. Oh yeah, see the little mark there.
Which one's that?
This is that tiny little aerial C4 that goes behind C23 down on that side.
Yeah, there's just a little mark in there.
Yeah, there's not a lot to it. Stick him in. I must admit, great progress today. Looks actually really good. Considering I was thinking this thing looked crap, to be honest. I've been looking at it as I've been working on other things, and it's like, oh god, it's awful. Actually, it's coming together really well now. You tend to find that with modelling.
Yeah, I always think it's when you've put your primer on and it suddenly transforms the look of it.
Mm-hmm.
I love a model when it's just been primed. It's probably why I like aircraft, you know, when it's just different greys, and I think that works quite well.
Yeah, definitely. Right, okay, so I've got in there now, so what we need to do is really put that hoist together, don't we? Because then it's going to need a bit of sanding and filling. Okay, so Christopher says, hi Phil and Steve, many thanks for responding to my question. Many thanks for the suggestion, the various methods of bonding the printed decal to the paper during my DIY decal making. Regards my particular build, it's going to be more of a street graffiti version, and I was thinking of putting a Banksy art design on an F4. So maybe I'll combine the stenciling technique method along with decals, just for fun.
I tell you, if you send your design to Rod, he'd be able to scan it and do your proper stencils for that.
Yeah, how much are we getting for every time we mention him?
I don't know.
Is the advertising rate? Should do.
But
I'll be returning the favour because I need him as an architect to design my outside loo.
Your outside loo?
Well, no, what it is, we're on about having a toilet done, which isn't like an outside, but it would go on the extension bit that we're planning on here for a downstairs loo, you see.
Ah.
So we have a plan.
Well, if you're extending, do you want to put a kind of a little bedroom on, so when I come down once a year?
Yeah, all right then.
Just for one.
We've already got one extension on the house with our nice roof. Extension on an extension.
But yeah, I was talking to Ron in depth about a couple of ideas, and Getting some pre-cut stencils will make life so much easier.
Yeah. Well, I must admit, I wish I'd done it now. Because he offered to do the ones for me for the airliner, and I thought, oh yeah, but how hard can it be? Actually, it was a nightmare. So I wish I'd taken him up on the offer now.
Yeah.
And got him to do it, and that way I could have saved myself a lot of heartache and a lot of cock-ups and all the rest of it. And just let him run riot with it all, you know. Right, okay. Must admit, I'm not going to miss these bloody ejector pins and all the sprue gates that come with this kit.
Yeah, it hasn't been too bad though. A lot of them are hidden.
I've done better.
And the winch thing, it actually glues together quite nicely. I only have to use a bit of thinner probably where the sprue gate was. It left a tiny little gap.
How are we doing for time? 5:45. Right, okay, so who else we got? Dan Jones. Hi, Phil and Steve. Really enjoying the Saturday live show. Your daily updates. Keep up the great work. I've also received a set of Rosie the Riveter tools. Looking forward to using them. I'm actually going to give it a whirl on this as well.
That's what I'm thinking, because they're perfect. Just to go around all edges where you've rubbed them off. It's just perfect. And it should be easy to match up, get the right one.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
Now that's that done, but it says that got slots in there where, well, mine ain't got a little hole on it. You know.
Which bit you doing?
Right, you know, K17, when you attach the kind of the spot for the winch mechanism.
Yeah.
Now you're supposed to fix that to K29, and there's supposed to be obviously a pin coming out of it.
Right.
So it slots in, but I haven't got a pin on mine.
Oh.
To slot in, you know.
No,
see
not
where? Yeah.
No.
So what I might do is find something just to bum 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 bum. Oh, I didn't hear me. Don't need very much.
Okay, what is it? K16? What's K?
Yeah.
K16. Right, well that's the hooky bit. Q1 hooky bit.
Grab a bit of styrene rod, see if I've got any that'll roughly fit that size. Oh, that looks promising.
K29, yeah?
Have I done what, sorry?
No, that's right, I'm just talking to myself. It's a bit of an afterthought, isn't it? Why would you do that? Why don't you just stick it in the hole? Why have a tiny bit that's going to feed it?
Yeah, why didn't you? What's the point of that?
What we're talking about, guys, is this bit here, this tiny little thing here, goes in the end of this, so it can stick in the hole in that. It's like, why doesn't this just freaking go in the hole? Well, it'll make it so much easier, but oh no. Thank you, trumpeter. That's another part.
What size is that? 10 mil. I haven't got 9 mil. That's the only one I haven't got. No. 2
Right, okay.
One.
So what I'm thinking...
Yeah, if you got some 0.88 mil styrene rod, have a look in your or 0.035 inch, item number 220. That's perfect for that hole. So 0.88.
Thing is, I'll be honest with you, I don't do styrene that small because I find it bends. So I must admit, I go the other option and I use this.
All right.
I use brass. What size hole is it, do you reckon?
Here. 0.8.
Is it a 0.8 hole, is it?
Yeah, it's about 0.8,
Just so
0.9.
happens, I have some brass rod for that.
Let's just see if it just helps secure it slightly.
There you go, look, I've got an aerial on mine.
Hey, that's about right. It as well. Cool.
It's a little bit bigger than that actually, it's probably like a 0.9.
That's going to be way too big, is it? Yeah. Oh no, that'll do. It just helps, look, yeah. Gives it that little bit added strength.
Apart from now, I've got a drill, a tiny freaking little hole.
Oh, hair drilling little holes.
Okay. Oh. Ding. Okay, we're saying we reckon about a 0.8, isn't it?
Oh, 9.
I'm hoping it's because I broke 2 of these bits the other day doing a little job like you do. God, I can't read that writing, that's ridiculously small. I don't even think it says it on that. That must be a 0.3. Okay, so that's a 1.2. That's going to be way too big.
And what I'll probably do is have a look at some reference pictures, and if there's any bits of wiring, I might just stick them on. Because I think it just probably won't be. It'll probably be all enclosed.
Yeah. Trouble is, if I may be so bold, this hole that you're going to have to drill into this guy is going to be absolutely pushing the limit if you're going to go in there at a 0.9.
Yeah, mine's all right. I don't know what size I've used either. Just find one that's roughly right. I bought these drill bits. They're for a range from 0.5 up to 2.2.
Yeah.
And the beauty of them is they've got a 2.35mm shank.
Yeah.
So they don't break that easy like, you know, your other drill bits.
Yeah, I must admit, I've got these little
really
reamers,
good.
These little guys here, and I've had them for absolute frigging ages, and they're quite handy. And they're great for it, but until you break one, and then it's like shit, because you know you have to need the new set then.
Oh, coxcalls. Just dropped one. Talking of one of them set, where's my one? Should be, yeah. Well, I went out, Phil, and I bought exactly the same one.
Oh yeah.
The first, aren't they for CNC machines or something?
Yeah, something like that. Oh, I haven't got the full set like that. I just literally
They're
bought the cheap one.
They're fantastic. They're so sharp.
Mm. Yeah,
they go straight in, but they just break just like that. And out of all the ones, I know Rob borrowed them and he broke a few of the little bits.
Oh yeah, plain bro.
But they're all brilliant. They just break. The really fine ones, it's very rare you do out that fine and they just break too easy.
Yeah.
But I think I got the too small. This got what goes up to a 91, which is 0.0083 of an inch, which is 0.0210 millimeters.
So there we go. That's mine in there. I don't know whether the camera can see it. That's mine in. Moment of truth. I'll tell you what, I'll put this on first. Yeah, it's amazing how the frigging hook has got a better attachment to the body than the actual thing, the hoist.
Yeah. In fact, I could do with a slightly bigger piece of styrene. Where's that? Get that back again. A little snip off that.
So right, what I need to do is let this dry for a bit and then I can sand all of that around, but the pin is in it, so we can do a test fit without glue.
Yeah, I ended up using a 1mm drill bit. Don't know how
There
that
we go,
ended.
there's mine in as a test fit. Oh, mine's on a swivel because I haven't glued it yet. See, that's why it should be a little swivel joint. But yeah, it'll sit on there, something like that.
Yeah. And there you go, there's mine, Phil.
Oh yeah, perfect. Yeah.
Spot on, that's just what we needed to do.
Just puts a little bit more strength in there. A bit more
And to be honest,
rigidity.
I might glue that when we've done.
Well, I need to sand mine up yet because I haven't done the seam yet.
What colour is it? Is it flat black or is there orange on it? I do not know. Show.
It's orange. Or it is on the box. Okay, right, a couple of questions before we finish off because we're running out of time rapidly. Right, where did we get to? We did that one.
Yeah, it is orange and black
Yeah.
at the front. So I might.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry. I think I'll glue mine in place.
Yeah.
And then it just keeps everything nice then, doesn't it, that joint?
Yeah. Okay, let me just refresh that so I can show everybody this.
I won't live to regret this.
Ah, you'll be fine. Piece of cake.
He says I knock it off at the first.
Okay, Brett says, good evening guys, I've just finished the morning's coffee and finished the prep work on these guys. Very nice. So what we're saying about the minifigures? Always a pleasure watching while working. Thanks a lot, Brett. Looking very good, those. How's your stynal res? Has it gone thick? Okay, so where are we? Let's go on to that one. Mark says, hi Phil. Phil, when is the Flory barbecue? Have you decided on what modern engine and cockpit tutorials? Right, the barbecue is on the... Hold on, let me just double check. I did say it on yesterday's show, and I haven't put the details up yet. Just remember, it's the last weekend in July.
I think it's the 30th, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right. So it's the 30th. Okay, so it's actually July the 30th. That's when it's not actually a barbecue. We're doing something slightly different. All you got to do is tell us you're coming. I'll put it up probably tomorrow morning, actually, by the time we get done here. But basically, we're going to put on various dishes of food and all the rest of it. That's why we need to know exactly who's coming. And then that way, it'll be outside, usual thing, on the deck. And then we'll just line it all up and you can help yourselves. I mentioned it in last night's vlog anyway, so there's that one. As for what modern engine and cockpit, now to be honest, I haven't made a 100% decision yet. I was thinking about doing the F16, which is the Pratt & Whitney F100 engine, because I've got one of them. Also, I have got the turbofan engine in resin for the A10, so I might do that one. So it's either going to be one of those. As for a cockpit, again, I might go for something maybe even in resin. As an aftermarket cockpit. I have got a couple of options already here because I have got an F18 cockpit aftermarket, I've got an F16 cockpit aftermarket, so yeah, not 100% your yet, but it will be something around those areas. Steve, what is your advice for weathering tracks used in the desert environment?
Well, in the desert environments, we spoke about this before, the tracks get really highly polished because of all the sand going through them. So that you've got two ways. You can either go for the highly polished look.
Chrome.
Or, well, yeah, they do. These just polished steel.
They do look very nice, yeah.
Yeah, and then you just put some dust pigments on. Or what you could do is just go for like them reference pictures we looked at previous in this thread, and go for a very subtle rust effect.
Yeah, I don't know
And
if
then
you just joined us, Mark, but
yeah,
as I say, go back a page, and I think they're in there, or it might be at the top of this page even. Have a look
yeah.
at those, because they're fantastic.
And then you want to just hit them with dust pigments. You want that kind of really dust effects all over them. But have a look at the environment, because you said there's the environment, but they vary so much. So if you're doing an Israeli, the colour of the pigments and the dust that you need to apply is totally different to what it might be in Afghanistan or in Iraq. So again, reference pictures, see what it is, and then use pigments that correspond to the environment. I like to flood the tracks with X20A and then drop some pigment on top of that, and then you can use your brush to move it around, getting all the nooks and crannies. Or you can just do it the simpler way is flood it with X20A, get your soft brush, dip in your pigments, tap it all over the top, and then just let it dry. Then once it's dry, you can knock off any excess pigments, and you end up with obviously really dusty tracks. And then you can start brushing the pigments as well with a fairly stiff brush.
Yeah.
So you can then remove more of the pigment till you get the effect that you're after.
Yeah, definitely. The thing is with tracks, it's one of those things. It's sort of multi-layered, multi-things, and you say you're getting in there with your pigments and all the bits and washes and everything else like that, and they just pop. They're like windows on aircraft. It's something that everyone looks at as tracks. So it's well worth spending a bit of time working on those. Okay, Daniel says, hi guys, no question from me, but a big thanks for trying out this time slot. First time I've gotten to watch you guys live from here in Mexico. Keep up the great work, gentlemen. I appreciate your continuous efforts to keep the site up with new ideas and formats. Thank you. Love the Han Solo blaster, one-day build. By the way, Han shot first. I think he did as well. Even though Disney, was it not Disney, but when Lucas went back and redid it, he changed it. So, definitely. Okay, Nev says, hi guys. Steve, I've seen the AFV Club M88A1G was it Bergpanzer with the Germans markings. If I do a desert scheme and some US Marine decals, will that be okay? Or is the A version vastly different? Bear in mind, I'm not a rivet counter. Glad you know what that is.
Yeah, well, that's a recovery track for the engine.
Oh, right. Right, got you.
Yeah, I believe that it comes with US markings. Because originally, I think I've got one in my stash. I'd have to have a look.
Yeah.
If you remind me, I'll have a look for you. But I'm sure it comes with US markings in the box. There is I think there's two that you can get. Now, is it the one the Bergpanzer and one's the US one? I'm sure there's two different ones that you can get from AFV Club. And then Panzer, yeah. I'm sure there's one that I'll have to have a look at my stash. So if I don't remember, just send me a PM and I'll look at my stash for you and tell you which one to go for.
Yeah. Okay, Brett says, about the Steiner Res, my black bottle seen here was cracked open about 5 weeks ago and is still okay to spray through a 0.5 millimeter needle. My white is unusable. It's thickened so much. I have a 1 litre bottle of the grey, which I'm too afraid to open to see how it's gotten on. Yeah, that is it. I tell you, I've had loads of feedback on it. Might be doing a follow-up on this stuff, I don't know. But because of other users and manufacturers of it, I'll probably just get accused of having a go. But mine, I can honestly say, my grey is unusable, my big bottle, and so is my black. My black is literally like ketchup. You can do that with it and nothing happens whatsoever. And if you squeeze it out, it literally comes out like toothpaste now. So there's definitely something going on with that.
Look at mine. Because we had a look at mine not so long since, didn't we?
Yeah.
You can
but
tell
seriously, my black, I had a look at it, to be honest, for doing the blaster. I was thinking about it. I unscrewed the top, and just looking at it, I thought it had just got like a skin at the top. So I squeezed a bit out, and it came out like toothpaste. So it was like, right, well, that hasn't gone very well. So not sure.
Yeah, mine's perfect still. The grey, that is.
I don't know what's going on with my tablet. I'm going to have to invest in a new tablet, I think, because this thing is doing my head in. Because it's saying that a post was an hour ago, yet it just refreshed and it was there. I don't know. I have no idea what's going on
Yeah,
there.
get yourself a nice iPad, Phil.
Yeah, everyone keeps saying that. Let me check it on my phone, just make sure we're all up to date before we go.
Hit
So
my computer.
long. Oh, well.
No, Mexico. That's the A1. Oh, there's his figures. Yeah, black.
Is that the last one, yeah? I just want to make sure we haven't
Yeah,
missed
it
anybody
is.
off.
Yeah.
Oh, that's all right. Okay.
Just out of interest, Phil, if you look on page 14 of the instructions,
Yes.
and it goes on to the underside,
What, the pipe? Yeah.
you've got P5 and P3.
Yeah, fuel lines, yeah.
Is that what they are?
I think so, yeah. Yeah, I think so. Looks like it.
I won't have a clue what they were.
Oh, I don't know, actually. Because they're going to come through the floor. Was those two things we put inside, weren't it? Was it? I don't know now. No, perhaps not. Where did they come
I
out?
wonder what they are. Because it just goes on the bottom. Yeah. Unless it's for...
I have no idea, actually. That's a bit weird, actually. I'm not sure what that is. I thought, the only reason I said it's fuel lines, we're talking about this bit here, is because on Wessex's, that's the fuel line. You can see them running underneath and all the rest of it. So I thought, oh, it's a fuel line, same as Wessex has. But perhaps not. Yeah.
No, I don't know. Because it almost looks like end of an exhaust as P3, but it's not good.
Yeah. Do you know what? I was just about to say that. I'm sure somebody will probably know, but it's not like a deck refueling system, is it? Perhaps it's a bit different. You know, like with ours, we just like hang a hose out the window and they just fuel themselves up like that. Perhaps they've got something a bit special under theirs which drops down.
I don't know. It'd be nice if anybody's watching and knows.
Yeah, if anyone knows what that is. So this is the bit, if I do closely cam, we're talking about. Yeah, we're talking about this here. So it sort of plugs into one of these two holes underneath here, and then, as I say, it goes along here, and it's got like a nozzle almost on the end, and we're assuming it's going to lay back down to here. So, but yeah, a bit weird that. I've never seen what one of those is. I've seen them on other aircraft, and normally it's the fuel lines underneath, but I don't know quite what that one is there. Right, well, if we call it quits there, mate, it's coming up for 6:10.
Yeah, okay.
Lovely job. Thank you very much for everyone joining us today. I must admit, it's quite nice doing it this time. Perhaps we'll change it to Saturday afternoon modelling, because it's a lot more relaxed. Just getting up at 5 o'clock didn't help for me. I was a bit of kit.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's still what everybody thinks.
Yeah, but if you prefer this time, guys, let us know. We can work it around. Obviously, the Australian guys won't, because it's like midnight there.
Yeah,
but
maybe we'll alternate it.
Yeah, that's it. We can just move it around. Perhaps we'll do later afternoon, like today, and then obviously we'll do a late morning one as well, and so various people can get us at various different time zones. Okay.
So we'll change it each week.
Yeah, we'll just change it around, innit? We can just move it around as and when people like it. So there we go. That's it from us. Monday for me will be the flaps, how to build photo etch flaps. Yep, and it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. So that will be up with you on Monday. Tomorrow, to be honest, I am here. I'll be working away. I'm going to finish off my Osprey. I'll get the reveal photos up so everyone knows I did finish it in time. So that will be up with you in the afternoon. And then later on in the week, obviously you get the last part then of the actual Osprey build will be up with you. And then obviously with the usual vlogs and the bits and pieces. But I'll be honest with you, I'm going to have a little bit of a quieter week next week. I'm having Thursday off definitely. So kit reviews, they'll make sure there's a kit review up for you. But there won't be a vlog on Thursday because, to be honest, off to Weymouth for the day for a bit of a family do. So we're off to do that one. So, but yeah, it'll be a nice, more relaxed week than it was this week. And hopefully the roofers will be out of my hair by Wednesday. They've told me they'll be clearing up and out of the way by Wednesday. So
He hopes.
But I tell you what, we'd be lucky with the weather, because considering the weather forecast was for torrential rain and thunderstorms all week, we've only had two big downpours admittedly, but apart from that, they've been able to crack on nicely.
Cool.
So we'll be all right. Thank you for joining us, Steve. Do you want to move your camera up? Or we're just looking at your chest.
Well, people
so we can see your lovely face.
I need to get a dual camera system like yours, but I won't know where.
Yeah. The only way you can do that is to have a card in your PC and 2 cameras. Which you got a big DSLR. You could do this.
How did you have...
You could rig your DSLR up as your main camera.
Yeah, I could do, but then I would have Oh God, I don't know how to do that. Yeah, I could do.
Yeah, it gets a bit slightly confusing, but you can do it. Yeah,
Um,
it's just the capture card, which are 150 quid. There should hopefully be a cheaper way
there
of
should
doing
be,
it.
shouldn't there? Yeah, but I can't.
Although failing that, I'm sure you could work with two webcams. Is there a way you can have a splitter with a webcam? I don't know how that works. Never mind.
I
So
don't know.
yes,
There must be some way, mustn't there?
got to be a way of doing it, flicking it through. See,
Or
I'll
if
have to look
you,
into
yeah,
that.
yeah.
Right, okay, thank you for joining us, everybody. We will see you very, very soon. Join us again in 2 weeks' time when we'll be here. Actually, no, we won't. I'm not here. I'll be on a plane. Literally, Saturday morning at 10 o'clock is my flight. So, yeah, we'll arrange something else. But I'm actually away that Saturday and the following Saturday. So, I don't know, unless we do next Saturday instead.
Yeah, that I'm
Are you happy to
happy
do
with
that?
that. Yeah.
Right, okay, so join us next Saturday for Saturday Live, where we'll, unless something's planned and I don't know about it, but I think I'm free, and we'll do Saturday morning, because the Saturday after I'm away with Snap, and then we fly out at 10 o'clock in the morning, and then we fly back the following Saturday afternoon, so those 2 Saturdays will be out of the way for me. So we won't be able to do that one, I'm afraid. So there we go. That's it from us. We will see you then next week. Catch us for the vlogs. Obviously, Steve will be with us on Tuesday for Tuesday Q&As and all the rest of it. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you very soon. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Look. Cue the out music. Do.
So long, farewell. Auf Wiedersehen, goodbye. Goodbye.